All right, there we go. Oh, I was not prepared for this level of Discord React. But like, hey, that works. That is a big cup of boba.
I keep forgetting that I left it as my Disney React image.
Honestly, it's perfect. Leave it.
I love it.
Especially since, we're here on good old Mateus, Oceania servers, where apparently no one fucking exists.
Yeah, no one is real here. Australia is, in fact, fake, apparently.
Oh, God. I know at least one Australian that would take huge exception to that, but, it's really...
Oh, I know several Australians who would absolutely destroy me, but...
it's hard to argue with the
emptiness.
Yeah, it's like... God, you were saying that that's your Disney React. I was just thinking Disneyland during COVID. And now I've gotten demonetized on YouTube, so like, hey, we're off to a great start.
Oh my god. Like, I am used to Lamia, where Limsa is the most chaotic at all times, because Primal is a server full of degenerates.
Oh yeah, I'm on Crystal and Aether. Crystal, it just... Limsa's the big hotspot place.
Yeah.
On, I think it's Marlboro, we've got the fucking Weed Police. On...
Oh god, yeah. We've had them stop by.
Oh god, no. Every time they hop a server, I hear about it and I go, okay, it's time to pick up the harp and blast Barbie Girl again.
We, did you hear about when at FanFest Vegas had, like, it was before FanFest Vegas, but there was, like, a bomb thread on Reddit and stuff?
No, I have heard nothing about this.
Oh, well, that happened, and that was a guy from Lamia. Who we had run-ins before. Got my one friend sent to DM jail once.
Huh! I've only ever heard stories about the DM jail, but like, oh.
Oh my, she was like streaming it to the group chat because she did not know what was going on.
Oh god. The only time I have ever seen it was in context of screenshots. Screenshots on, I want to say, Tumblrs or something, where the reason... No, it was Twitter. It was Final Fantasy Twitter, where someone was posting about Thancred fucking, and apparently that was enough! Apparently that was enough, despite all of the other lewd and obscene things that go on in this plaza. Saying Thancred fucking is apparently what gets you Asianed.
Yeah, I know there was someone who had a, I think it was a Harshfon, like, fucker, character name, and they got sent to DM jail, and the GMs were just like, look, man, just change it, and he was like, that's fair. Fair enough.
Another funny thing about Lamia is that I'm pretty sure Lamia was... God, it was either that or... No, it was not Accept. It was definitely Lamia. Lamia was my original server when I first started playing. That was where all my friends were, and I was going to surprise them with, hey, I've got a leveled character. I can play with you guys now. That did not last. That character has, in fact, relocated servers several times by this point.
I was originally on Ultros, and then we all, I was on Ultros when I first started because I had another friend on Ultros, and then when, like, my whole group of friends started, they were all on Lamia, so the couple of us that had characters relocated.
Yeah, Lamia's where another one of my friends is. Ultros is where a couple of friends got because one person started there, and then when a couple people were looking to get on that free trial, she was also like, hey, I'm on Ultros. Like, that's just the way of things. You start picking your servers because that's where your friends are, so God bless the DC travel that is currently locked.
Yeah, oh my god, that's why we're in Oceania today.
Yeah,
Because it's the only place you can go.
It's that or Dynamis, but very specifically, this is your alt character that,
Yes.
as you literally just told me 5 minutes ago, you put on Europe because you promised Maru that you would.
Yes, I promised Maru that my alt would be on her server. So if you're not on the North American server, you can't go to Dynamis because it's a North American server, and the only place outside of your own region you can go is Australia. Which is very Australia core, to be perfectly honest.
For real, for real. Anyway, so since we're apparently on vacation, let's go ahead and kick things off proper. Hey there, heroes! My name is Hero Girl. I'm your friendly local neighborhood hero tuber, and I'm here to let you know that if I can do it, so can you. And with me, I've got a very special guest.
Hello. Hello, I am Sonomikan, former villain working on my redemption arc, and in between helping my heroes fight my former villainous co-workers, I stream basically whatever I want. It's been a lot of Final Fantasy XIV and Ocarina of Time lately.
It's very specifically Ocarina of Time randomizer, right?
Yes. I desperately want to finish a randomizer run.
Oh god, that looks like so much fun. I need to give that a try one of these days.
It is wild. Highly recommend. 10 out of 10.
Like, how familiar were you with Ocarina before you started playing it? Like, were you the kind of person who played through several times and you just wanted to, like, do the crazy stuff?
I played Ocarina start to finish, like, 3 times a week as a child.
Oh my god!
I played that game obsessively. I haven't really played it much since I was a kid, but there's a lot of I've played it start to finish like 2 or 3 times since then, like in the past like 2 years, just to refamiliarize myself because I really wanted to play randomizer, and I'm like, I need to remember how to play the game because you have to check like all of the secret places.
I was about to ask, like, that sounds like absolute hell for someone who's still relatively new to the game and doesn't know how to get to the little secret hidey holes or find the secret bugs.
Yeah, I have lists of, like, places that I have to check. The very first randomizer run I did, I had, you have to get the egg to go wake up Talon so you can go talk to Zelda. The egg was in, like, a little cubby hole in Death Mountain Crater. And I had to get it from there to progress.
But you don't have the shield to save you from the fallen rocks.
Nope. Also, I was Child Link, so I didn't have a fire tunic.
Oh, no. That sounds so great. I love watching the randomizers. I'm a little more familiar with, like, the Link to the Past randomizers, but
yes,
all randomizers are good randomizers. They're good.
I highly recommend Ocarina Randomizer. It's so much fun. I've watched a lot of Link to the Past randomizer, and I adore watching it. But I've never actually played Link to the Past, so I obviously am not jumping to play it randomized.
So, our plans for today are literally just to hang out and chat like this, which this feels good. This feels like it's going to be a good day for me. Very specifically, I am bugging Sono to help me out with some Atma farming, which is something I left off with Thamora before Dawn Trail came out. I've got, like, oh god, 1, 2, 3 more Atmas to complete completion. So we're gonna head to Outer Lenoska, Lower Lenoska, and Central Thanalan at different points. Fortunately, you've already got the city traveling unlocked on your alt, so we can actually hit
I'm right outside Sastasha with Solus. Ryder has been everywhere, done everything.
She's been everywhere, man. She's been everywhere.
She's just out there living her life, causing problems on purpose. Okay, where are we headed? It wouldn't let me accept the teleport, so...
Nope. Okay, yep. So, out at Lenoska, that's at Camp Overlook. So, I'm gonna have to find the exact spot where I can taxi you around.
Where can I get to? Can I...
get to Ailport. That's right, that's Satasha.
Yeah. I
Okay.
can get out there. Can I get to... No, I have not been to Upper, but I have been to Western, and from there I can get to Upper.
You accept the
Okay.
you accept the airport.
No, I haven't attuned to Airport yet, but I'm headed to Swift Perch.
All right, I'll meet you there. And
How
then,
did I not attune to Airport while I was over there?
you know, sometimes it's just one of those things you don't think about until you need to teleport, especially on an alt and you're already familiar with like the area and you're like, yeah, I have this area, no problem.
Yeah, that's the thing. I think I just keep forgetting because I've already got everything on Rider, and I'm like, yeah, I can just teleport there, and it's like, oh, wait.
Yep. Well, that's okay, because I've got the regalia, so we're going to be going around in style today.
Nice.
Which is going to bring me...
Oh, yeah. Here we go.
Yeah, there we go. That's going to bring me to my first question, in fact, which is, so tell me about your familiarity with Final Fantasy as a franchise, what got you to FF14, that sort of thing.
Okay, so I've only played a little of 8 and most of 10. So I've never been super deep in Final Fantasy, but I've always kind of loved the aesthetics of Final Fantasy. So, you know, there's a lot of references to other Final Fantasy games in 14. It is the thing they do. And most of it goes over my head.
Right.
Just completely. There's a couple of things where I will recognize, like, oh, I'm aware of this thing from this game, so I know this is a thing. Okay. But I'm not I'm very much a poser. But, you know, I had some friends that played 14, and I had watched a couple videos. I think I watched the Monster Factory episode where they made a Final Fantasy 14 character. And I was like, okay, this looks fun. I like the vibes. I like the character designs. I can be a funny little cat girl. Which is all I ever want in life, is to be a funny little cat girl causing problems on purpose. So I made Ryder, and then when they introduced Viera, I was able to convince a friend of mine to start playing. Like, I bought him the game, and I'm like, you can be a bunny girl.
Aww.
You can be a bunny girl. And he's like, damn it, you got me.
Every time.
And now here I am, deeply obsessed with this video game that I constantly play, and once AFK logouts are over, we'll just go back to idling in 100% of the time.
Oh my god, you're an idler. I
am a known Lamia idle player. There has been a Reddit post about me.
Oh my god, let's go!
I idle at an NPC in Heavensward. I idle at a Heavensward NPC, Vidofnir. She is Ryder's beautiful dragon wife. And I am there 100% of the time, unless I am playing content that has just come out or doing roulettes with friends. And one day, my friends that I play with in our Discord server, one of my friends was like, oh my god, it's finally happened, and posted a screenshot and a link to a Reddit post of someone being like, have y'all seen this person idling at Vidofnir? It says on her, this is how I knew it was me. They quoted my adventure plate, where I'm like, vibing daily in Annex Shrine with my beautiful wife Vidofnir, and I'm like, oh my god, I've finally done it. I'm famous, boys.
We're Reddit front page, let's go! Idlers are one of the true treasures of this game. My free company leader for my main account, she is the cryptid of Midgar Somer. She is M. Dance Ellis. And it's just one of the first things that people who are familiar with Midgar Soma recognize. I remember it was the first day of Dawn Trail, and she kept asking chat, okay, is it time for me to stop dancing and go play Dawn Trail? And it was just always, no, you are a support pillar for the culture here. Without you, all hope is lost.
What will we do?
Exactly.
I have had several people going through Heavensward, and like they'll talk to me regularly when they come by. And there was one person who got to the end of Heavensward and came through and was like, "Thank you so much for being part of my Heavensward experience." I had someone come in looking for the Cave of Morn, because for some reason I also had this problem. Even though it is literally right there, you can't find the damn thing. So he was asking me, and I'm like, you know what? Hop in. You don't need to deal with the dinosaurs. I'm just gonna drive you straight to the dungeon.
Oh, God bless. God. So that dungeon's very specifically is very, very hard to find if you're not familiar. And oh
yeah.
No, you don't. Let's see. Did you have?
I have it. Yeah. It didn't. I had to accept it, so it took me out of the car.
Okay, no, that's fine. I had to do a double check because I was like, oh wait, Outer Lenoska is actually just like double your level range. But it's like, hey, you know what? Okay, it's fine. It's cool. We can adjust.
Yeah, I was like, hop in. It's a pain to get back there. And you know, I drive just right outside to where the entrance is. He's like, oh my god, it's right here. I've been looking for this place for half an hour. And I'm like, nah, exact same thing happened to me. Don't worry about it.
It happens all the time.
I had the exact same experience when I first got here.
So then, how long have you been playing FF14?
I started Rider in 2017, but I started seriously playing in 2020.
Okay. So you were just kind of like checking the game out beforehand, playing maybe every once in a while.
Okay, so what happened? This is a funny story for reasons.
For legal reasons, this is a funny story.
I mean, it is actually funny, but also with what happened last week, it's extremely funny in that I got to the point on Rider where I was headed to Sastasha, and I go in, and it is 2 cat girls and a cat boy.
I feel like I've heard this
the
joke
2
before.
cat girls, no one is in the chat. No one talks in the chat. The 2 cat girls both, like, disappointed emote me. The cat boy runs around in circles off to the side, and then everyone leaves.
I'm sorry, what?
They just left the dungeon.
Hold on. I feel like I had wax stuck in my ear for the first part. So you queue into a dungeon. There's 3 cats.
My first dungeon ever.
There's 3 cats. They are disappointed in you and then just leave the duty?
Yes. Without saying a word to me.
What?
Unhinged behavior. If I had a nickel for every time I did my first trip into Sastasha and was partied with fucking weirdos who made it impossible to complete the dungeon, I'd have 2 nickels, which isn't a lot, but it's weird that it's happened every single time I've done this.
I have never heard anything like that. Congratulations, you have won Final Fantasy.
Just the most unhinged behavior I have ever seen in my life. So at that time, I was now afraid to party with randos. I would not go in with people I didn't know.
God, that's just
I was too afraid.
That's just like the New Sprout experience with a lot of these social games. There's one bad experience that just really sets you off if you weren't set off before.
So I leveled my crafters for a while, because I was really enjoying that. So I did that for a little while, but then I ran out of things to kind of do. And I didn't have any other friends playing at the time, so I just stopped. But I always wanted to go back to it, because even then, I still really liked the game. I just needed people to go in with me.
That was the exact same for me. I told you that I joined because I wanted to surprise some friends, but when that friend group fell apart, I was left with, well, okay, I guess I'm not really playing this without anyone to play with. But it was just always in the back of my mind of, you always wanted to play an MMO. And you enjoyed playing this one, unlike the other free trial attempts you tried. Because I was that kid that tried Mabinogi, tried the... God, I think... there was this side-scrolling one I can't for the life of... MapleStory.
Oh, yes, MapleStory.
Yeah, like I'd heard of MapleStory, but I never actually got around to trying that one. But just... you grew up with things like .hack, with any sort of MMO-style isekai anime, you go, that looks cool. I want that. I want...
yeah.
I want friends.
I want that experience. Without the life-threatening aspect of it.
Yeah, you don't want SAO before SAO was SAO. Although low-key, Log Horizon kind of had me hoping that we would have a Log Horizon. Oh, there's an Atma. The drop rates on these Atma are insane. Less than 5 stars in FGO.
Wow.
That's saying something. And no, I hear you.
God, I remember I quit FGO because I saved for like 2 years. I saved for 2 years for Voyager when Voyager dropped.
Oh!
Because the Little Prince is very, very dear to me. And when I found out about Voyager, I'm like, I need him. I need him. So when he dropped, I spent half an hour doing pulls. That's how much I had saved. I spent half an hour doing 10 pulls. He did not come home.
Oh no!
So I quit.
Oh. See, at least you did leave from a point, and like, you said that was save court, so I'm assuming you didn't reach into the wallet for this.
No money. No money.
Okay. You at least have that consolation prize.
Yeah, see, I don't have money.
Can't spend money if you don't have money.
Yeah.
Or at least that's what we would like to believe.
In theory.
In theory. Don't spend money that other people are gonna pay you. Don't be crusty.
Yeah, don't spend money that the government is gonna take from me anyway.
I was an avid FGO player for, I think, the first 4-ish years. It was around the time that the Oka Room came out that I had just hit full-on burnout. But I leave the account with the satisfaction that I did actually get my Jean Alter to 5 stars almost entirely.
Oh, nice.
Almost entirely on free course. I gave myself like an allowance that I would allow myself to spend. But
see, that's reasonable.
Yeah.
I think if you're putting a lot of time into a mobile game, it's fine to spend some money on it.
Yeah.
I mean, you have to be reasonable about it. You have to be careful with it. But, like, you know, we pay money for this game. Any, like, video game is gonna be somewhere between $20 to $70.
Mm-hmm.
So I'm like, yeah, it's fine to put money into a mobile game if you're really spending a lot of time with it. You just gotta be careful about it.
And you have to, you know, understand that someday those servers are going to go down, and anything that you put into the game is not going to be invested or returned back to you.
Yep.
Oh my god.
And you just have to understand that as like, you know, in a game you buy for a console, you're only gonna get so much out of it.
Oh my god,
So,
I can't believe I leveled off of that. You know, almost
like I think of it very much as the same thing.
You know, almost the entirety of these Archer levels are off of PvP and Fates.
Oh my god.
It's true. It's true. But no, I never took you for an FG for an FGO recoverer.
It was a weird thing because I am not someone who is deeply invested in Fate. I actually really loved the gameplay of Fate Go. Believe it or not, I know there are a lot of people that don't, but for some reason it really vibed with me. And I like enough Fate content and know enough about Fate that I'm like, okay, yeah, I can follow this. I get it. And, you know, I would drop off and then come back and drop off and come back. And then they introduced Gorgon, and I was like, well, I live here now. Because Medusa's already my favorite. Like,
Yeah,
Rider Fate Stay Night was, like, she's my favorite there. And there's, like, 4 versions of her in that game. So I'm like, yeah, give me, and you've got her sisters. So I'm like, yeah, give me all the funny little snake ladies. And then they introduce Gorgon, and I'm like, well, I live here now.
You do. We have you forever, at least until, you know, Voyager breaks that spell.
Yeah.
I would have gone for Voyager too. I completely understand.
Yeah, it's my my college degree is in comics and illustration, and my college thesis was adapting The Little Prince into a 16-page comic, and I spent 16 months of my life almost completely destroyed my health doing this thesis project. So The Little Prince is very, very near and dear to my heart, just after living and breathing it for 6 months. So they introduced Voyager, and I'm like, that's my son.
At one point, I had it as my mission to get all the theme servants. And at some point, when I was really, really into it, I did have plans to, like, at least grail a couple of them. Once all the other things I sent in, I was planning on getting Geronimo there. He deserved it. But I
did enjoy Fate Go while I played it.
Yeah.
I've never quite gotten into another gacha that way, just because most of them, I really didn't have anything I was attached to, with the exception of when the Atelier franchise briefly had a mobile gacha.
What isn't that the cybernetic series? Atelier what was it? Atelier the Angels?
No, like Atelier Ryza.
Okay, I don't think I'm familiar with that one.
Okay, it is essentially a crafting RPG, and the franchise is essentially where all crafting in video games is birthed from. Atelier Marie being the first one, and the one that is very dear to my heart. To the point that when Atelier Marie Remake was announced, I tweeted at Koei Tecmo for about 4 months until they had to DM me, like, we aren't doing, like, paid sponsorships, but you can get, like, a creator copy if you watch this hashtag, and that's where we'll be posting when applications open. Because I and my entire community were DMing Koei Tecmo so much that they had to address me directly.
Oh, it's a shame that they're not doing the paid sponsorship, because it sounded like you had that covered.
The fan base for Atelier as a franchise has grown a lot, especially once Ryza hit. But prior to Remake coming out, the first 5 games had never been released in English. They had never been released stateside. But I was familiar with it through just the art for the game, which I'd always been, like, obsessed with. And Tokyo Pop had localized a manga for it back in the early 2000s, which they never finished. They never put out the last volume because they're cowards and they hate me, and I've never forgiven them.
You specifically.
Yeah. Who else was it for? The fan base was me and Andrew Dice, who is an editor for game localizations. It was me and him. That's it. We were the entire English fan base. I ran a Tumblr blog. Like, I ran a Tumblr fan blog for this series. I cosplayed Marie once. No one knew who I was except, like, one girl visiting from Japan for the convention recognized me and my friend who was cosplaying another character. So I'm like, if there was a paid sponsorship, I was determined to get it. And honestly, I didn't even want to be paid. I didn't even need them to give me the game for free. I just wanted them to acknowledge me.
That is true autistic brain rot right there. Kudos. Kudos.
Like, you don't even... They did give me the game. After I went and purchased the entire pre-release Japan bundle that include... Because there were several different pre-order bonuses, depending on where you bought it. And I went straight to the developer's website, so I got the big bundle that had everything.
Hey, thanks. I mean, like, I already have the game, but I do want the recognition, so thank you, I guess.
So, I mean, I don't know if the copy that I bought is in English, so I do have the English copy that they gave me on my Switch.
God.
But I was just like, I don't know, I just want them to acknowledge me. Like, I don't know what I want out of this. I don't care if they give me the game. I just want them to acknowledge me. I don't know if I need to get paid. I don't know if I need the game. I just want to be acknowledged for my long-time fandom.
Please confirm that I have developer senpai's attention.
Yes, that literally all I wanted was just like, please know who I am.
Oh, I had additional leading questions, but like, oh my god.
The very funny thing is it released on my anniversary last year.
Oh, you
literally on my anniversary. So I'm like, okay, forget all of my other plans. Forget making this about me. I'm using all of the visibility and clout I get for my anniversary to promote this game.
Oh my god.
And that I'm playing it.
You actually just had your 4th anniversary earlier this month?
Yes, well, like a week ago? 2 weeks ago?
Okay.
It was the 12th.
I
can't count.
It's okay, you don't need to count to be a VTuber. So
I'm not a math lesbian.
Do you know any lesbians that are?
I definitely have known math lesbians. You either know math, can drive, or something else. I don't know math and I can't drive, so I forget what the other one is, but that's the one I can do.
I'm pretty sure the third one is stable income and or you don't have like mental disability.
Oh, I don't have any of that. So I don't know what it is that I've got.
And I do say disability in like the actual neurodivergent. Oh god, I'm trying to like do so much stuff as an independent employee.
Oh god, yeah.
Employer, but like brain is fighting me.
Brain brain always spicy.
Brain's
Oh,
so
this dude just went after my whole ass, dragged me all the way over here.
I mean, where else is that tongue gonna go?
Mood.
Okay, so this is.
I have to fight a megalo crab here real quick.
Oh, hot log
for my
yeah,
my job quest.
Yeah, no, by all means, go ahead. I'll just be here rooting for you.
Lady is talking to me. Blah blah blah. I don't remember who you are.
I think
old man.
I think she's the sister of like the guy back at the guild.
All I know is big lady. And that's all that matters.
Truly, you are a woman of culture.
All that matters is big lady. I was so worried they were gonna make Hroth girls not big.
Oh, that would have just been absolute riot. One of the things
because it's my big problem with. Oh, hold on, I have to leave the party for a second.
By all means.
I didn't realize this was gonna be an ordeal.
Yeah, crabs are big business. But let me see if I can guess what you were going to say. You basically thought you were worried that the Hrothgals were basically going to be Femme Auras Part 2.
Yes, that was my big fear. Because I think Femme Auras are adorable. I hate that they're tiny and the men are huge. If the men weren't huge, it wouldn't bother me.
The gender dimorphism is quite pronounced to the point where I have several friends who play fem auras, and it comes up every time. Every time it's like, why am I playing dainty waifu when I want to play big, strong warrior dragon girl?
Yeah, like, I was so afraid that was gonna happen again, and I'm like, no, I need Hroth girls to be furry Rogadin women.
I am
And
so,
that's what they are.
I am so happy that's exactly what they are. Like,
Because I was ready to be so mad.
oh god. Femross are literally perfect. There's no
Like,
debating
I
this.
wish they were a little wider, but this is fine.
I think compared to where the male Hrothgar are, I'm very happy with it. I'm not a huge fan of the Hrothgar hump.
Yeah.
They've got that hunch over. They're very Beast from Beauty and the Beast like. And like that works in some of the context, but I do just very much prefer where the Femross are.
Yeah. I love extremely tall buff cat lady. That's all I want in life.
God, just what more could you want? Although, admittedly, I did go like full L's. I was on a Galadriel kick after Rings of Power, but it's me.
Look, that's fair. Elysian women are also incredible.
And they're very rare. Apparently, Elizans are just one of the least popular heritages if you look at endgame players.
Yeah, I'm not sure why, because I'm like, if you're going to play a Here, why not play an Elysian?
I think part of it is that a lot of people get turned off by the giraffe neck. Like
That's fair. Personally, I love it.
The neck helps when it's actually clothed. Like the model looks fantastic when you get clothes on it, and you can get like the floppy hats or you get certain armor pieces. But if you're just looking at like the base model in like the base clothes, it does look just a little awkward.
Yeah. I mean, I love weird long necks on humanoid characters. I don't know if it's because I had a huge crush on Irie from Den-O, and like I just remember shots of her where like her neck is weirdly long.
Oh god, Den-O is a Kamen Rider series that I really want to watch at some point because I like trains and I have seen Momo in some of the crossover stuff.
Oh, highly recommend Den-O. Den-O is so good. I also live with a crush on Kintaros because I am that was like, I don't want to say baby's first monster fucker crush because I definitely had more when I was younger, but like Kintaros is definitely where I was like, I do like that. Okay, where'd you go?
I'm over here on a rock. Where'd you go?
Oh, there you go. I see you. I'm over here on the bridge.
Oh, you're on the. Oh, okay. There you are.
But yeah, no, Den-O, highly recommend Den-O. That whole Heisei 1 is great. First half Heisei is just good stuff all the way down.
Okay, that was were we talking about a different series or? Like when you say Heisei.
Oh, Heisei era Kamen Rider is Kuga up to Zio.
Oh, okay.
And it's generally delineated into two parts between Decade and Double.
Okay. Okay, so you mean the second era of Kamen Rider versus like the Showa era?
Yeah.
Oh, okay,
yeah, as opposed to Showa. Which I don't have a lot of experience with Showa stuff. I've only seen Amazon, which is also incredible. Highly recommend.
I keep hearing that about Amazon. I see Amazon and I go, I don't know if like the aesthetic is there, but I keep hearing that Amazon is like amazing.
It's so good. It's such a wild, unhinged show in such a strange way.
He looks like just like a creature. He looks like a gremlin.
He is the thing. He is just a gremlin of a man.
My first writer was the first writer series that I saw this guy, and the second one that I finished was XIV. When I was introducing my wife, I really, really enjoyed XIV. Especially,
I love XIV.
XIV was one I watched very specifically because I was recovering post-bottom surgery, and I had also come into my plurality. So watching XIV was really, really good plural vibes.
Oh yeah, I could definitely see that being very cathartic.
Oh yeah, it was. So like so for anyone who's watching, whether you're watching the VOD or whatever, and you're not really familiar with Kamen Rider, I'll give a little bit of context because this is actually something I love sharing. Kamen Rider XIV is the series that crosses doctors with video game aesthetic. And the main character, that was Emu, right?
Yes.
Yeah, the main character, he has this kind of gamer personality. He's got his nice normal doctor side where he's like very sweet, he's very caring, but then it's gamer time and you just see the light flip up. And
I love them.
I love them too. And I saw that, I was like, huh, okay. I go in for hospital, I come out plural, I keep watching, and I find out, oh, wait, that actually is another personality there. It's actually a bug virus man that became his own person, and his name is Peridot, and I love him too.
I love him too. He is a good boy. I really want us to get Blu-rays of XIV because I am desperate to own what I call the Takahashi Yuya Kamen Rider trilogy, because the writer for XIV was also the writer of 01 and Geats.
Ooh.
It was the same lead writer for all three shows, and especially with 01, it is very visibly a lot of the same ideas. I think a lot of the things that he either couldn't execute in XIV or didn't work out the way he wanted in XIV, I feel really bled into 01. Like Dan Kuroto. Dan Kuroto was not supposed to be the character that he was in XIV. Once Iwanaga Tetsuya started being like that, they were like, oh, we have to go somewhere with this. We have to let this man do that in the show. So I feel like a lot of the things that had originally been intended for Dan Kuroto ended up being put into a Matsugai in 01.
Oh my god, that's a great endorsement if I ever heard one.
01 is legitimately in my top 3 Kamen Riders, if not my favorite overall. That kind of changes day to day because I also really love Blade.
There's so many great series to check out. There was one last thing I wanted to say about XIV before we
Yes, oh my god, I could talk about XIV forever.
I love the Mighty Brothers part of XIV.
Yes.
Very specifically because the part that was so cathartic was the whole Emu made this original game idea to be played with a friend, and he was so lonely, and he only had his game, and he wanted a friend to play with. That is the plural feel right there.
Yes, and he manifested, brought out this whole other person because he needed them so badly.
And then it became a real person because someone sent him anthrax.
Dan Kuroto, why are you like this?
It is like the greatest origin story ever.
I love XIV. One of my favorite things in XIV, while I was watching, because I was watching it week to week as it was coming out, and there's that whole period where they don't actually have an opening theme for like 10 episodes.
What?
There's a whole big period of XIV where they just don't use the opening theme. And when they came back, when they started using it again, And I ended up going back and looking, but when they used it again, they basically had changed all the visuals of the opening, except for when you would see the actual rider suits. And I was looking at them, and I'm like, the bit where XIV is on the Kyria bike, I'm like, why didn't they take the eyes off of him? That wouldn't be a hard thing to do, because he's CG'd anyway in this shot. And I'm looking at it, and I'm like, Kyria's coming back. He's coming back.
That was before they brought him back, yeah. Because at that point, it was... How early on did they kill him off again?
They killed him off in episode, like...
12, I think?
I want to say, like, 13.
Yeah, it was fairly early on. Like, it was a little after they had the whole, sports bike archery upgrade for him to actually be a person.
So I'm like, he's coming back. And the more I thought about it, I'm like, Dan Kuroda would make save states. He'd figure out how to put a person in a save state if his entire plan... Because I think at this point we knew that the reason he had, like, done all of this was to try and get his mom back. So I'm like, if he's doing this, he would absolutely make save states for people's souls. 100%. And then that was exactly what happened. And just you see Hiro having the breakdown, talking to Dan Masamune, and, they bring back Saki, and she's like, she's just, like, not there mentally. And Hiro's like, oh, well, prove to me that I'll get her back. And he's like, okay, and he pulls out another one, and it pans up, and we see Kyria, and I'm like, oh, you absolute buffoon. You're done for. It's over. You've released your destruction upon the earth. He's going back to his boyfriend.
XIV was also just like a good series for supporting cast too.
God, yes. Which, again, Takahashi is very, very good with working with a large cast. 01 has amazing supporting cast. Geats just has a very large main cast.
That is... Oh. If I can get back into the habit of watching sub to anything, 01's going to be higher on the list now.
Highly recommend 01. I wasn't super satisfied with how they did Hiro in XIV. It just kind of felt like he would get to the end of his arc about dealing with his grief over losing Saki, and then it would just kind of start over.
A little bit.
He kind of had to learn the same lesson 3 times, and then they made, like, several movies where he also had to relearn that lesson.
The suit was sick, though. I loved the whole fucking Tattle Fantasy.
Tattle Fantasy was great. Incredible suits.
I was so excited when he got the level 50 Demon Lord upgrade, because at that point it's like, oh, I can summon minions now because I'm the Demon Overlord, and then it never got used again. I love like the Necromancer type characters who get to summon their little minions. I was like, that as a protagonist is just like, gimme.
Yes, I loved the Tattle suits. But the secondary of 01 is basically Hiro again, except Fu isn't grieving a girlfriend. He's kind of grieving his family in a very Kamen Rider Excel kind of way. And it just feels like it's done much better. Also because he's like, Hiro kind of was always mean to Emu. Even when they were at a point where they were kind of getting along, it never really felt like he was nice to Emu. Where Fua is very tsundere toward Aruto for a good long time, but it's very clear that he likes Aruto. anytime like Aruto's back is turned.
Oh my god. And now that I'm thinking about it, doesn't 01 also have like a Chobit style Android assistant where
Yes,
XIV had Poppy?
It's Poppy. She's Poppy again, except like she's Poppy by way of like Chi from Chobits.
Yeah, I was thinking the exact same thing.
The Takahashi Yuya lead female is very much a trope. He's got one in Geats too. And I love all three of them.
Okay, so then what's the equivalent for Quack Doctor Kantai guy? Snipe.
Oh, who did I... Oh, okay, so in 01, you know, there's a female rider in the lead 3 in 01.
Right, I remember.
She is essentially Taiga.
Ah.
Where, you know, she's very angsty for reasons, but her heart, she wants to do the right thing, and she's trying to do the right thing even though she's deeply ingrained in the bad system.
Trying to do her best in a corrupt system, which there's no actual change being done.
Yeah, and then she punches the corrupt system in the face. Very literally.
Things I wish would happen in Code Geass. I'm not wrong, right?
No, you're right.
I think that's about
and then
all
there's in 01 there's a character who is essentially pallid but also Kyria. Like he's Peridot, but also he's kind of also Kyria. Which is interesting because he's kind of just the scrungly little weird guy.
Right. Okay. I had to like reboot my brain there for a second because I hear Kyria and I'm like, wait, what's this have to do with fish? Because that's that is my VTuber friend Kyria.
Ah, yes.
Who is also a big Tokusatsu fan, and I think she's. Did Geats recently finish up?
Yes.
Okay, because I know that
it was the one before the one that was currently airing.
Yeah, I know that she was talking about issues that she was having with Geats with the friends that she'd been doing watch-alongs with.
Geats was pretty divisive, I think, and I can see why in the latter half. I loved it. I thought it was amazing. But Yuya got a little kind of edgy, nihilistic. But he pulled it together in the end. I really like how Geats went.
So moving on to other series, so I can go ahead and like give my brain the extra stimulation. I did. We were talking about Gentaro earlier because
yes,
he was part of the inspiration for your main account, the pompadour and everything.
Yes. One of the hairstyles for people who don't know is a pompadour that you can have for your character. So my cat girl has a pompadour, and as I was designing her, like my brain went pompadour equals Kisaragi because I'm like Gentaro, and like obviously I couldn't just call her Gentaro, so that's why her name is Ryder. And then her chocobo is named after his bike.
I just finished Force for the first time earlier this year.
Oh, it's so good.
It took me a couple tries to like really get into it, and at that I needed to have my wife there. But I knew that she would love Gentaro because she loves dumbass affectionate. And
yes,
it didn't
big of heart, dumb of ass is absolutely my whole thing. Love that.
It's so good because at that point she'd already shared Haikyuu and Kuroko's the basket with me. It was just a recurring trope. Force was interesting. It was one that I really, really wanted to get into. Like I like Force, and then hearing about everything about it, like I heard it from you that it was written by the same person that wrote Gurren.
Yes.
Yeah, I heard that, and then like it'd been billed to me as as just like or ensemble cast, and I watch it and I'm like, okay, this has Breakfast Club vibes. This is great.
Very, very Breakfast Club vibes.
I liked it. I just wish that the villain was more interesting.
Yeah, the middle gets very mushy. And that was a lot of my problem with it while it was airing. I really felt like they needed to focus more on, like, the ensemble cast instead of just random people in the school.
Yeah, like when they actually, one of the characters' names, I think it was, her name was Yuki, the one that was obsessed with space.
Yes. Yes.
Yeah, they reviewed her as one of the 12 Zodiacs that the bad guys were hunting, and I thought that was an amazing development.
Yes, I am absolutely positive that was meant to happen earlier on and be a much bigger part of the show. At that time, usually when movies came out, they would do little 5-minute shorts that they would release on the internet. They called them net movies. And normally these are like goofy comedy segments. There is just everyone messing around, doing goofy stuff. There was one that was dead serious and was entirely Sonoda, the scorpion woman, talking to Yuki, trying to eventually build up to giving Yuki a switch. That was the entire plot of these, and I am 100% positive it is a storyline that was cut from the show.
Oh, that is this.
Because it is not written like comedy. It is entirely the two of them, like, talking about emotional issues with Sonoda trying to hit a vulnerable note so that she can be like, oh, you want to fix that? Here's a switch.
Oh god, I loved so many of the things that they were building up in that show. I'm a sucker for the whole preparing things for the next generation, going as far as only you can go, but then trusting it into everything else. It kind of shares a couple of those themes with Final Fantasy, especially with Endwalker.
Very, very much so.
And like, it's great. The idea of picking space as an aesthetic and theme to help tie in something about friendship is amazing, especially in the context of like how many people it took to win the space race and get men on the move and stuff. Like, I thought it was brilliantly pulled together, but then that second half hits.
Yeah, it gets very, very mushy. I think really his original intention didn't include a secondary writer, and he really didn't know what to do with Ryusei.
Which is... It's interesting if true, because it feels like Ryusei was actually one of the better parts of that first half, too.
Yeah, I think it's just so... Ryusei as a character was really good, but, like, a lot of his arc ended up not so much his arc, but the plot elements around him ended up falling flat, where, like, you know, they bill the dude who's up on the satellite as like part of this whole alliance, part of this whole like organization, and he's not. He's just one dude.
Yeah, but
and they never really go anywhere with that.
I mean, kinda. Like, the reveal is that his liaison is Virgo, so he's kind of acting as this double agent type thing.
Yeah.
But at the same time, Virgo gets points just by virtue of being a guy who becomes femme-coded when he transforms.
Yeah, I really loved, and that was the thing we were waiting, because Sonoda becomes mask-coded when she transformed. Everyone was convinced that Virgo was going to be a guy. We just had no idea who. And that's because he didn't exist in the show as a character, like a face-acted character, basically until they were pointing toward him as Virgo. Like, until all the big reveals were coming together. And I didn't mind that so much. Like, I didn't mind him actually being Virgo. I didn't mind that he was, you know, working that double cross. It was more that just like they had introduced a lot of concepts around Meteor and around his liaison being part of something bigger. And I'm like, and they just kind of didn't do anything with that. And there's a degree to which, in hindsight, I'm kind of relieved because Revice did some stuff like that, and they did it very poorly. Because it was just way too much going on. But it's... I think there was a lot of they should have focused more... Like, there's an episode where Jake, like, he has like a radio broadcast with his middle school friend, and it's all about him kind of deciding, do I want to sacrifice everything that actually makes me happy for this dream I have that could potentially make me happy, or do I want to hold on to these friendships I've gained that actually really, really mean something and have made me a better person?
Oh, God.
And I think those were some of the strongest episodes in the show.
God, that was a really strong episode personally too.
Oh yeah.
Because like, you know this as an entertainer, as someone who is doing art and rigging and stuff. Amazing job on Lila's PNG, by the way.
Thank you.
It fucks so hard. I love it.
I had so much fun working on it. But
like,
yeah, no, that episode hit very close to home. But I feel like a lot of the second half should have been more stuff like that. We should have been connecting to characters through the rest of the Kamen Rider Club instead of them just being people who were in the school.
Oh God, yeah. Yeah. That's my only real major criticism of Force, is that was what I was wanting. It just didn't give me a...
Like, I basically wanted the second half to be a New Game Plus of the first half.
That's not a bad way to put it, though. Now, see, the ensemble cast, I found after having watched a couple of the different writer series, is something that I love in my character-driven stories, which is why I tend to gravitate more towards Power Rangers and Sentai.
Same.
Like, you get a lot thrown at you really fast for the sake of getting everything set up. It has to be a little bit of an issue when you have the slightly larger cast, but just give me 5 idiots hanging out together and saving the world.
Oh my God. I don't know if you're keeping up with Boom Boonger, but I think you would very much enjoy it if that's what you're looking for.
I saw exactly one episode of Boom Boonger, and I adored it. I just need to make the time to, like, start watching the episodes, because, oh, God.
It is 5 himbos and an alien robot himbo in a basement together. And a very serious lady who is also a himbo.
I saw the dynamic duo of the villains, and
I
fell
love
in
them.
love.
Oh my God.
I'm the kind of person...
It's been so long.
I've been the kind of person who kept watching Kyoryuger purely... not, I'm pretty sure it's Kyoryuger, the battery-powered dinosaur Sentai.
Yes.
I kept up with that purely because I adored the villains so much. Daigo would have made me drop it otherwise.
Kinda same, to be perfectly honest. I, to this day, can't stand Daigo. I liked the rest of the team, but I just did not like the everyone wants on Daigo's dick nature of
of
that show.
So, like, here's the thing, too, right? For a second, right before he gets the Samba power-up, thought that they were going to do something really, really cool with Daigo, where they go into the whole, wait, no, bravery is not acting like a dumbass and running into things head first. Bravery is having something that you're afraid of losing, or, like, recognizing that fear and going first. And that would have made Daigo a great character, but they didn't.
Nope. And, like, literally as that's happening and he, like, runs off and he like, goes feral and takes off in the woods. And the rest of the team is left to, like, figure things out. And there's a moment where Ian, Kyoryu Black, is like, what would Daigo do if he was here? And I'm like, dude, you don't even like him. You don't even like him. Why are you saying this?
I loved so much of the rest of the cast.
Oh yeah, like I loved the rest of the cast. I loved Blue and the female villain.
Oh, Blue was the best. I love his old man jokes.
Loved him. Love that man. Love that man with all my heart.
Black was great, but the villains are still what made that.
Good. They were so good. Like I, as you might have guessed, am very, very fond of Sentai villains.
I don't know.
I know this comes as a huge surprise. But like the thing that really like my very first Sentai was Go-Onger.
That's a good one.
Which is it's a great show. Not sure if I would really recommend it as a starter for most people, just because Go-Onger is a lot if you're unfamiliar with how Sentai works. But I mean, if you're very familiar with Power Rangers, then like go for it. But the villains in Go-Onger are just a bunch of idiots. They're just so stupid. And they just want to vibe. They just want to vibe and drink. And it's just it's hard for them when the air is clean. And I'm like, y'all, I get it.
Oh my.
You're just dumb. And don't realize that, like, because the whole thing with Go-Onger is there's a bunch of different dimensions. And they're like, yeah, we come from this dimension and we want to take over Earth and make it polluted so we can live here. And then you find out that there's, like, a junkyard dimension. And I'm like, why aren't you idiots living there? There's, like, one person there. You could just go. It would be fine.
To be fair,
and then in the 10 years after movie, that is where they're living.
I was gonna say, to be fair, our dimension is the one with internet, so.
I mean, that is valid.
God, I love how goofy Sentai gets, and I feel like that's something that gets that's missing from a lot of the fan projects that come with Power Rangers.
Very much. I think there is kind of a thing with Power Rangers where not so much series, but like outside fan projects or even the 2017 movie, they're a little afraid to and a little ashamed to be Power Rangers.
Yeah, that's I feel that. Like
just the goofiness and sincerity of Sentai, and I'm not someone who knows a lot about modern Power Rangers. I'm just kind of on the fringes of that. But Sentai is just so earnestly sincere in how goofy and weird it is.
My first Sentai ever was Gokaiger.
Oh.
God, I remember.
Gokaiger's a masterpiece.
It is. Like, I remember picking it up very specifically because I was tired of waiting for Mega Force to come out, and I was like, you know what? No, I'm gonna go watch the Sentai Anniversary series. I know Power Rangers well enough that I can get the general gist of all these other references being made, and I will watch it. And honestly, it was everything I had been missing from the Neo Saban era. It was goofy, it was genuine, there were amazing set pieces. Like, you watch that first episode of Gokaiger, and they're fighting a whole fucking invasion armada. You're seeing them do flips, you're seeing them go on zip lines and trade weapons, and you're seeing them break all of the rules that you were so used to just watching the adaptations.
Yes. God, the first episode of Gokaiger is a masterclass in how to start a story. It is 12 out of 10, a masterpiece. Not a second is wasted. You get everything you need to know about everyone, about everything. it is an absolute masterpiece of a first episode.
Yep. And it really, really, really helps you appreciate just how much Megaforce got borked when they finally did it.
Oh, destroyed. Absolutely wrecked. And I'm just, I really think, because at the time, I remember a lot of my Power Rangers friends talking about this, but I don't know 100% how true this is, so take this with a grain of salt, that they couldn't skip Go Sager. Something in the way that the contracts were at the time, they weren't allowed to skip a season. So they had to do Go Sager.
I feel like there's some truth to that. I feel like I remember hearing a little bit of that, but I can't vouch for it either. That's something I'll have to look into it. But I do remember was that the Neo Saban era was very, very truncated. Even back during the Disney era, they would do their best to try and like adapt most of the episodes, so you would get the big, I want to say 40, 50-ish episode seasons. But then Neo Saban takes over, and I would not be surprised if this was more of a cost-saving measure than anything else. But
actually, that's a Nickelodeon issue.
Oh.
Nickelodeon demanded the seasons be these very specific, like 21 episode lengths.
I forgot they got moved to Nickelodeon.
Yeah, that was a Nickelodeon time slot issue, which is a problem in itself. But I still think, you know, I think if they could have started with Gokaiger, they would have, because it otherwise does not make sense to start to do half the season as Go Sager and half as Gokaiger.
No, it doesn't. And from what I remember, Go Sager is definitely not suited towards an anniversary role.
I don't think so. I know in Go Sager at the end of episodes, they had a little segment talking about prior Sentai. So I think they were trying to hype the kids up toward the anniversary the next year. But I don't think there was anything within Go Sager itself.
Yeah, mostly what I remember from that era, this was when I was a part of like Tumblr Sentai fandom culture.
Yes.
I remember seeing a post about someone who was contacted to do basically a Shinkenger adaptation for Samurai. And they they blitzed through the entirety of Shinkenger. They came up with this script pitch that honestly sounded really awesome, but it just didn't get picked up.
Oh.
And
that's a shame, because they also, I want to say they botched Shinkenger. It's hard to say that when they just made Shinkenger again, but my problem with Samurai, and I didn't watch a lot of Samurai, but I saw some of it, and I'm just like, you can't tell me this white boy, the whitest boy I've ever seen in my life, is descended from Japanese samurai. Like, I'm a white girl. I know what white people look like. That's a white boy.
Honestly, okay, so like there is that issue. Yes, that's the elephant in the room. We're not going to ignore that. The biggest issue, honestly, was just, it was really poorly directed. Like, there are some good actors in that season, and they're stiff. They're so fucking stiff. And because they're almost trying to do it one for one with Shinkenger, it just doesn't translate at all.
Yeah. And I think that's a lot of, like, I could never really get back into Power Rangers. And I think the reason for it is they will not let the cast of any Power Rangers show stop talking. They have to be doing one-liners, like, the whole fight. And I'm like, just let them fight. We can do one-liners when they get out of suit. They don't need to talk right now.
Oof. Is this what we call the Marvelification of media? Maybe. I'll say this.
Because I watched the first season of Dino Charge because Kyoryuger was bad, and I'm like, they can only make this better. And they did.
Yeah, Kyoryuger was Dino Charge was legitimate.
Yeah. But it was just so hard to watch when they would be, like, quipping in the middle of fights.
Honestly, it was probably a little easier for me because I would always be doing, like, first monitor, second monitor stuff. Power Rangers is one of those series where I don't necessarily need to be watching the fight scenes, so it's easier to just kind of gloss over that part.
Yeah.
I'll say this in Samurai's defense. The actress who played Lauren, what's she called in Shingenger? Orihime Ranger or something like that?
The female red.
Yeah, the female red. Her actress.
Kaoru.
Yeah, her actress her Power Ranger counterpart is named Lauren, and the actress who played Lauren was phenomenal. Like, actual subtlety and layers to her acting.
That's nice. Because I had wished that Shinkenger did more with Kaoru. It's kind of wild that Kaoru has more screen time in other Sentai than she does in Shinkenger.
No! That was one of the things I was looking forward to in Shinkenger. You have no idea how badly I want a Femred.
Same. My one completed fan Sentai pitch had a Femred. It also had a male pink, and then Toei, they didn't beat me to it because I did make this pitch like 10 years ago. But you know, at least we finally got that.
We eventually got Dawn Brothers. Oh, hey, that's another fish.
Even though they did my boy so dirty.
I saw like the first, I want to say, 8 episodes of Dawn Brothers before I dropped it.
That's fair. I struggled to get through Dawn Brothers. I hate the ending to Dawn Brothers.
If you ever ask Lila about it, she has this whole thing about how she despises the writer for Dawn Brothers with a strong passion.
That's fair. I have a lot of conflicting feelings on Toshiki Inoue. Bruh is not allowed to write the straights anymore.
Yep, in not so many words. That's more or less what I heard.
Yeah, bruh is just not allowed to write straight people anymore. If he wants to write the gays, go for it. Did amazing in Dawn Brothers. Stop writing straight people in love triangles. It's bad every time.
I think my main issue with Dawn Brothers was that I really appreciated a break from formula for like the initial setup.
Yes.
But it just kind of took too long to like bring the team together.
Like, I was actually fairly amused with the fact that they kept Black being separate from the rest of them running for nearly the entire show.
Oh my god, they do?
Yeah, for almost the entire show.
Oh my god.
I just hate what he did with that. Because again, bruh should not be writing straights in love triangles. I'm very sick of him being bad at it.
That's a shame. I was actually really kind of enjoying the role there.
Oh, I love him. I
Yamada?
did not like him that much at first. I was not a huge fan of Taro at first, but I loved everything with him and the villain and his villain boyfriend. Always good, always fun to watch. And then later they do some actually pretty cool stuff with him that I did enjoy, and I love some of the stuff they do with the Sixth. He's a little freak, and I love him. But man, I'm mad about that straight love triangle.
Alright, so real quick, let's go ahead and take a break in about 10 minutes. Take a break at the bottom of the hour, let's say.
Okay, sounds good.
That's good. Second one. I'll tell you what. This is the first thing I bring up anytime Sentai discussion talks. Similar to why I nearly dropped Kyojuranger. I cannot stand Idiot Reds. It is my most beloved trope, period, when it comes to Sentai.
That is very fair. I like some Idiot Reds. It depends on how they handle it.
It
Like,
really does. Like Tokyo
Deca Ranger.
Oh yeah.
Deca Ranger has an Idiot Red, but I like him because he's not bad at his job.
Yeah.
He's just like he's very good at being a Deca Ranger. He just is very excited.
Right, and like I kind of bring that up with Wright from Tokuger.
Yes.
He's literally a kid and gets excited. And if he had been like that the entire series, I think I would have gotten tired of him. But because he does have that maturity growth, especially after Zed gets introduced,
yes,
it's fantastic.
And I think because they introduce the fact that like he is actually an 8-year-old, I'm like, okay, I can be a little more patient with him being stupid because he is a child and like doesn't have lived experience.
Right.
He's allowed to be stupid. He's 8.
Right, and they all have that, which is why it's so great when they actually like start maturing at the end of their, partially adults, and that's why they have this whole concern of like, wait, we literally made child soldiers, and they actually just kind of lost their childhood from this.
See Daisy.
Whoops. We made Animorphs again.
And that's why I love Reds like Marvelous and Boken Red, because they're not idiot Reds, but they are himbos.
Oh yeah, the himbos are a-okay.
They are stupid, but they're not like stupid isn't their main character trait. Like Boken Red is my favorite Red. Bokenger is my favorite Sentai. I love Bokenger. Where like Akashi is extremely good at his job. He is the best at his job. It is why he's the Red. It's why he's the leader of the team. This is literally their 9-to-5 job.
Yeah, professional treasure hunters.
Yeah, so he's extremely good at his job. It's just he's not very good at anything else. He's kind of stupid when it comes to anything that isn't treasure hunting. And I love that for him.
See, that sounds fantastic. But then...
Because it doesn't get in the way of the show. He's never holding the idiot ball. He's just... Sometimes he does dumb things because we're not doing an adventure thing and he wants to be running through the woods.
So off the top of my head, there are 2 series that I tried getting into and dropped after like, I think 5-ish episodes because I could not stand the Red. It was Ninja, and then also...
I also did not watch a lot of Ninja.
And then also Q-Ranger, the first team that had like 10 of them at the start.
That is fair. It took me like half the show to like the Red in that show.
Lucky, just great Sonya. And it's worse when it's worse when they have a catchphrase that just makes your autism screech.
Yeah, it just didn't work. It also didn't help that I'm pretty sure the writer did not want to be writing Lucky.
Oh no.
He only wanted to write Stinger and Champ and Balance and Naga, and that's all he wanted to write about, and any other time, he is kind of phoning it in.
Oh, you hate to hear that.
Like, the good parts of Q-Ranger are legitimately some of the best Sentai that exists, but the rest of Q-Ranger is not even bad, it's just boring.
Which is a real shame because, like, I love the cast that they put together for this. I love it when they come up with a bunch of non-humans to fit into these suits.
Yes.
Like, the android girl Pink gets the really cool suit with the wings and everything. That is peak Ranger design.
Love it. The Q Ranger suits are amazing. They have a funny little scorpion man who has an angsty little scorpion story, and I was like, oh, baby, you're speaking my language. You got he's angsty about his brother who became a villain, who's played by Melon Boy from Gaim. Like,
Yes?
extremely sexy melon man from Gaim, yeah.
Oh no!
Who was also, like, a dipshit, angsty, older brother villain. He's playing the same character, except now he's a scorpion.
Except now he's a scorpion, and hopefully we don't kill him off just to bring him back at the end.
No, we kill him off and he stays dead this time, unfortunately.
God bless.
But I'm like, oh, good! I can actually, like, enjoy a plot line with him. I have a lot of issues with Gaim.
Don't worry. I had like zero plans to bring up Urabuje because I know how you get about that.
I think the man is a bad writer. I just think the man is bad at his job. Really good at coming up with ideas, really bad at executing them. But Takatora was like my favorite character in Gaim because I really love. This goes back to my love of Gurren Lagann and Rossiu in Gurren Lagann. I love a dude who knows he is doing a terrible, awful thing, but is trying to do it for the greater good, but only because he doesn't realize the genre that he's in.
Oh god, I adored Rossio so much in Gurren.
I love Rossiu. And like Takatora's same dude!
Yeah! Vero was another one I love. I love Vero.
Love you, stupid cat man.
We're gonna do this fate, and then we're gonna take a quick break. Oh god. This is really good so far, though. I wanted to let you know that I am really enjoying just yapping about this.
I love sitting and yapping about Toku. It is my favorite thing to do. So I'm thriving.
Which is great, because I'm going to have, like, more things to bring up, including, let's see, one of the other series I really enjoyed, Eorzea. I'm going to be asking some questions and asking for, like, some expert insight into things like Mebius. Because I know that's a very important series for Lila, so I want to ask a little bit more about Ultraman.
Oh, I will talk about Ultraman. I unfortunately haven't gotten to Mebius yet. Soon. Getting there. Love that blue fish man, though.
Yep, and then we'll also be getting into some personal stuff, because I did want to ask about, like, how you've been doing streaming, VTubing, and stuff like that. But all that's going to have to wait after our very quick commercial break. Don't touch that dial. We'll be right back. It's too late for me. Oh my god!
I also have a YouTube channel, but I don't use that at all. So, mostly just Twitch.
All right. And then come on, you're the last one in, you're the last one out.
Jesus.
Oh my god, that's so
I had liquid in my mouth. Anyways, once again, Kyria Nebrius. You can find me twitch.tv/Kyria Nebrius, KIR.
Run into the webbing. Run into the webbing. Taking the cuckoo back to the pen. Gonna join the other hens. Ding dong, I'm a clock soldier of Kakariko, and the curve of time is 9:51. Hello, the sun, how Zelda's attended the great Impa, opened this village to the common people. We have only a small population now, but someday this place will be as lively as Hyrule Castle Town. Oh yes, it will. Climb up the stairs at the north end of the village to find the trail that leads up to Death Mountain. But you need the king's permission to actually go up the mountain. Am I trapped? I am not. Excellent. That would be a clever trap. Whoops! Accidentally, trapped the player. The way that you constantly re-equip everything. So then... Wait. I'm not actually trapped, am I? Wait. Hook shot out of the hole. Thinking about it. But, like... There were... Wait a second. But, no. We can't hook shot out of the hole because we're floating in the water. On the ground, though, now? Well, wait. Okay, you know what? That might... I could just be, like, a total bimbo right now, and that could actually just factually be it. Oh my god, that was actually just a... That was just it. I am the bimboiest bimbo that ever bimboed. Ah, so many powers! So much creativity. It is my mind, it overflows. My mind overflows, it becometh. There. I think what we do is we go ahead, we play that out. And we continue just building our board. And yeah, we're gonna go ahead, play this out too. X creatures and... Oh my god! Oh dear mother of pearl! What the hell? Seek X creatures, enchantments were X... Oh my... Oh! What the... I don't have an emote appropriate for this moment. What
Love
the
your beard.
actual googly moogly?
Yeah, that's fair. I have so many clips that I need to add to mine. Hello. Yes.
I was muted. I was muted the whole time. Thank you so much, Heavy. You have saved me from 10,000 years of disgrace and dishonor.
Oh my god, I was once muted for 2 hours in a collab.
God. So, thank you, Heavy. Thank you.
Thank you.
You are my hero. So let me start over. Hey, we're back. We're back with Sonomika and having a grand old time.
Hello, everybody.
I only need one more Atma the fish. So after we get one more Atma of that, we'll head over to Central Thanaland, make sure see if that has acceptable level ranges to continue hanging out. Otherwise, honestly, we'll just keep going on a Sunday drive.
I think so. Have I been to Central? Thanaland. Central. I haven't been out there, but I feel like it's okay. I'm level 20 now. I'm pretty sure Central is okay.
Oh my god, weren't you like level 18 when we started?
I think so.
Oh my god, have you been eating your food buffs?
Oh my god, I haven't.
That
Let me
might
eat
help.
my egg.
That might help. Delicious egg. As
Eggy.
as one Mr. Harry Bomber fan used to say. Anyway, so
Eggy.
So one last hit I wanted to touch on with regards to our Sentai talk. Also, thank you for helping me remember exactly how much Sentai in ranges I actually have seen, because all my friends are like really into the writer half of Tokusatsu, and I'm like, wow, damn. I actually just do not know enough to contribute to the conversation. So like,
Yeah, no, I am the Sentai girly. I need to get more like 90s and Showa Sentai under my belt, but if from Aba Ranger forward, I've seen all of it except for everything past episode like 8 of Ninja.
yeah, Oh god, there's a few different series that I've also just like started and then dropped for whatever reason. I really like the aesthetic and setup for Go Busters, but for whatever reason it just lost me. I think right before Gold and Silver Stacks got introduced.
That's fair. Go Busters is a messy bitch of a show because they wouldn't let Yasuko Kobayashi just write it. They wouldn't let her just write the damn show. Because unfortunately, Go Busters had the unfortunate honor of following Gokaiger.
Oh,
And because
yeah.
Gokaiger made so much money, Go Busters was never gonna make the Gokaiger bucks. Never. It just wasn't. And they just kept forcing her to change things and go in different directions because it wasn't selling the toys, it wasn't getting the ratings, and I'm like, the beginning and the end of Go Busters are incredible. All of the like linchpin points of the story are really good, and all the stuff between that is a disaster.
I really loved the setup here. Trying to go for like a slightly harder sci-fi aesthetic and take on how the Zords are set up, on the morphing, borrowing the English from the American series. I loved all of that. And then it just
falls apart because it is written by the same woman who wrote Den-O, the same woman who wrote O's, the same woman who wrote Shinkenger.
Aw, that's disappointing. I mentioned my friend Kiria earlier, and I remember Go Busters is like her absolute favorite.
I do love it. I am a big fan of Go Busters. I can't deny that Go Busters is just a messy bitch.
The Buddy Roids were fantastic.
Oh, Cheetah Nick is one of my most dearly beloved characters in history. I love him so much.
Yeah.
I am very weak to any story that will make someone's pet kind of the emotional love of their life.
Oh.
Because that is something very relatable for me. And the first pet that ever passed away in my life was a very traumatic thing for a lot of reasons, aside from just the fact that my childhood pet was passing away. So anytime I can get that in a story, is very cathartic and very special to me. And Cheetah Nick kind of had a lot of that in a lot of ways. Even though, he wasn't a pet, but
But he was a friend, and he was friend-shaped.
yeah, he's so friend-shaped.
It's Digimon Tamers all over again. It's Ducato and Guilmon. Oh god. The one. Let's see. Go Busters I ended up dropping. Ninja I ended up dropping. Cute Ranger I ended up dropping. One that I was very happy to stick with though was Zyuohger. I really liked
love
Yamato.
Zyuohger. I love Yamato. Zyuohger is such a strange series in that I love it. I loved the cast dynamics. I think they have some of the best chemistry of that era. But the overall writing was so hit or miss. I really feel like the villain group was a lot of the problem because they were just so detached from the story, and like the boss was just bored.
Yeah.
And I'm like, you're not enjoying being here. Why should I enjoy being here? I feel like if they had been also from the Zooland dimension and had like chased everyone to normal Earth, I think that would have worked better. Because at least they'd have some investment in the Zyuohgers, but they just like happened to be here.
Yeah. God. And now that I'm thinking about it, God, it makes me appreciate the fucking Admiral's son in Gokaiger.
Yes.
What was his name again? Waltz?
Yes.
God, he was such a little bitch, but in a way that was fun.
Yeah, like he was having a good time.
Yeah, and even when his dad got involved, he was in the more traditional villain role, but he has that motivation of, well, these guys fucked up my son.
I love my son.
Yeah.
How dare they?
Yeah, this was a daddy's boy through and through.
Oh yeah. And it's like I love the Eorzea team. I love Amu. I'm an Amu apologist.
Mm-hmm.
I don't think people don't like Amu. I think people just tend to like Sella more. And I'm like, and I love Sella. Love that girl.
Which one was Amu? The elephant or the lion?
Amu was the tiger.
Amu was the oh right, let's see, she was, I think, white rather than pink that season? Yeah.
Yeah.
Oh my god.
And I love her. I'm an Amu apologist. I would die for her.
I liked her a lot too. I remember seeing her in one of the crossover movies and
yes.
Oh no, they just did not do anything with her.
She was just kind of there.
She was literally just there, and in the scenes that she was in, she was literally just standing there. Like they didn't have any direction for the actress. It was just, okay, you're here. You don't have any speaking lines. Nice tail. Good job. Just, you hate to see that.
Yeah.
But the cast,
like they all had such good chemistry.
They did. I think the only one I didn't really like was Six, the world.
I liked him as a character, but I was like, he didn't really do anything for me as a sixth.
Mm-hmm. So here's like the main issue that I have is that he has the extreme depreciation thing, which it didn't bother me as much when I was watching my own, but for trigger reasons, I literally cannot share that to my wife. Yeah, which is my biggest complaint. But other than that, it's fine. His transformation trick is amazing though.
Yeah, I love that he's got a fishing rod, flashlight.
Fishing rod, flashlight, bop it, sock it, twist it, pull it.
Also, Zyuranger just has some of the best, like, beast person furry designs.
Oh god, yeah.
That I've seen in anything.
The best fursuits in forever.
Just absolutely incredible, and then they need to fill out crowd shots and would just throw that rubber horse mask on people. Love that.
Oh god.
Unhinged.
Yeah, like it's like I was saying before. I love it when they actually take non-humans and put them in the suits.
Yes.
Just
I love, there are just scenes of like, oh, we need to like have a bunch of humans doing something. So we've got all of our normal suits, and then I guess we're just gonna throw several of these horse masks onto dudes. Love it. Every time.
And the mech design was actually really peak. I love that it's literally just a bunch of blocks continuously stacking on top of each other.
I didn't like the one where the legs were just the blocks and had the like 1 to 10 on the legs. I'm like, you could at least have them like interlock somehow.
Yeah, that one was a little awkward.
But the rest of them, love it.
Yep, and that's my last fish.
Nice.
Alright, so you've got Central Thanaland, we'll head over there.
I don't have Central yet, but I think I should be good to go there.
You've got regular Thanaland, so we'll just go ahead.
Yeah, I've got somewhere in Thanaland. Not west, eastern.
We'll just head to like the main city, and then we'll drive out.
North, yeah.
Oh god.
I know I've been out in Thanaland. I don't know why I don't have anything.
I love big clusterfuck Zords. They are just some of the most fun to play with and like get the actual toy of.
I love the Go-Onger mechs. I mean, my favorite are the Bokengers. My favorite always Bokenger.
Oh, God,
Dive Voyager is one of my absolute favorite robots of all time. But I love how unhinged the Go-Onger and Shinkenger mechs are.
Oh god,
Just
yeah.
watching that movie and seeing them next to each other, both fully kitted out, and I'm like, this is it. This is peak unhinged design.
It's so good when they do that. I actually had the American version of the Shinkenger toys, and for the longest time that was my favorite thing ever. Especially the lobster. I love that it's a lobster.
Yes, I love Shinken Gold.
God, so good. I'm looking forward to when I can actually get around to watching Shinken.
It's really good.
Another thing about going really quickly back to Georgia, I adore the whale suit.
Yes, it's so good.
I am such a huge sucker for anything that does like the long flowy
Yes.
not cape, but more like coat. Like
Yeah.
hero coat.
So I love the wizard suit.
Yeah.
Kamen Rider wizard suit, so good.
Let's see. That's the way we're...
And I'm convinced. I have no proof of this other than the way the helmets are designed. The way Yamato can go from eagle to gorilla, I am convinced all of them were supposed to do that. They all have that hinge on their helmets.
Okay, I could see that. But at the same time, you don't really question the red getting more features than anyone else. It could be like literally they had to start with a base mold, and then that's just kind of the base that everyone started with, you know?
Yeah, I think it's a thing where they designed them so that they could do that, and then just never actually like did it in the story. But I think it would have been so interesting if they did.
Oh wait, no, we were in Central Thanaland. This is Central Thanaland.
Oh, okay. I thought you could just go right out into Central.
Yeah.
I thought so.
Yeah, is it Blackbrush Station that you don't have?
I don't think I've.
Yeah, we'll make a quick stop.
Yeah, I'm not attuned to Blackbrush.
Okay, well we'll go ahead and fix that real. Also, real quick. Hi Ray, hi Fran. Thank you so much for stopping by. Also, Fran, hey, specifically, hey, as one of my aforementioned Kamen Rider fans.
Hello. We are. I am always prone to tokusatsu brain rot, and that is what we are doing today.
Yeah. Okay. So like, we more or less covered like the entirety of what my breadth of knowledge with regards to Sentai has gone. So I am looking at some of the Ultra series, very specifically Mebius. I know before we went into break, you said that you hadn't gotten to Mebius yet, but like.
But I do love that big fish man.
You do love that big fish man, and I have seen the SSS Gridman anime. So like.
Yes, I have seen that.
So like, let's start there.
I've also seen most of original Gridman.
I started watching a couple of the episodes. I was like, oh, this is good. This is classic vintage tokusatsu right here.
Yes. It gets a little weird when you get to the last, like, 8 episodes. That very kind of 90s sensibility.
That 90s sensibility of, well, we're almost done with the series. Might as well toss everything sideways.
Yeah, just very 90s sensibilities of like, some of these things you would definitely not put in a children's show these days.
Oh.
Why is it not putting me in the seat? It is saying I am in combat. There we go.
Oh, it was probably one of the mobs that hadn't disappeared yet.
Yeah.
As you do. Okay, so
but Gridman is fun stuff.
Oh, it is so good. Like, I remember following a Twitter thread at one point that was dedicated to just pointing at all the Easter eggs and all the background details in Quad S Gridman.
Yes.
Oh, and then I started watching the sequel series Dainzion.
Oh, I need to watch Dynazenon.
I was really enjoying that one, but unfortunately, that one also had wife's trigger come up, so I had to put a pause on that.
Why'd we fail?
Oh,
did we do?
the timer ran out.
Oh, okay. We just got here late. Okay.
Like, it's honestly
I was
pretty.
like, what did we do?
We did nothing. That was the problem. But oh my, the animation on Quad S is amazing.
Oh yeah.
I adore.
God, I love Studio Trigger.
Oh, Trigger is just like peak. When I get my actual commission model, I want to find someone who can like actually pull off a nice cell shaded Trigger style.
I would definitely point you toward Kisania, who did Bunnies, Cute Hero Bunnies model.
Yes. Please, like DM me their card or their socials. However,
Yeah.
Yeah. Because
I will definitely DM you her stuff. I definitely want to go to her for some merch related art.
If I could just like find an artist who has like the style, that'll give me a goal to start saving for.
Yeah. Like, I love, if I had money, like, the reason I changed models is because I want to do a lot of, like, alternate outfits and stuff, and I do not have the money to commission someone else over and over and over. So I'm like, well, time to draw my own model again, I guess.
Yep. We can't afford to eat out, so we're just gonna have to cook.
Which, like, I'm very happy with my 3.0, but if I could have afforded to go to someone for a model, I would have gone to Nia.
Oh yeah. Ain't that just always the way? That's part of why that's why I've been finally able to kind of get into drawing regularly for myself. I realized that I'm just never going to be able to afford someone to like do the fun thumbnail stuff that I want to do on my own. But like, hey, it's drawing practice. That's good.
Yeah.
Yeah. But anyway, back to Trigger. I mean, Gridman. I mean, Ultraman. I mean...
I mean, there is Ultraman Trigger. Which is very good. I loved Ultraman Trigger.
My only exposure to Ultraman, like, as a series, like, so aside from Gridman, it was a Shadow archetype in the card game Buddy Fight, which takes a bunch of different tokusatsu inspirations and turns them into trading cards. It's really cool. And then also the Ultraman Tiga dub that 4Kids tried to do.
I would love to see some of that because I've seen some of the English dub of Kamen Rider Kabuto.
Oh wait, this is one of those item grabbing
Oh
things.
right, we gotta go get the.
Gotta grab the stolen crates and then bring them back to the merch. But also, there was an English dub of Kabuto.
Yes. I want to say it was Malaysian.
That would make sense.
Or some Southeast Asian English dub of Kamen Rider Kabuto, and it's goofy as hell, and I love it. And I think I have like 6 episodes of it on a hard drive somewhere.
What I remember about the Tiga dub, I remember liking it well enough, but at the same time, it wasn't Power Rangers, so I was like, I can kind of take it or leave it. I don't remember hating the dub itself, though.
Tiga, I've watched. I'm only like 2 episodes away from the end of Tiga. I watched Tiga when I got COVID. Because I was bedridden for like a week.
You heard it here
so
first,
like,
folks.
well...
Watching Ultraman Tiga gives you COVID.
No, the New York City subway unfortunately gave me COVID, but I'm like, well, I can't do anything, and the only thing I have on DVD right now is Tiga. So let me just watch as much Tiga as possible. And Tiga is really good. I understand why Tiga was kind of a renaissance for Ultraman. In a way similar to Kuga being a renaissance for Kamen Rider.
Ooh, that's high praise.
It's definitely not like Kuga is a masterpiece. I think Kuga is objectively the best Heisei Kamen Rider. Where I don't know if I would say that about Tiga, but I can see why so many people like came back to Ultraman and Ultraman became such a thing again after Tiga.
Franz pointing out that Kuga got all the moms watching too.
Yeah, and Tiga almost certainly got all the moms watching Ultraman. That boy is good looking. That is a golden retriever of a man. Tiga is extremely interesting in the fact that, like, I believe his name is Daigo, ironically. I don't think he actually... Oh my god, there's a dude following me here. He doesn't do much as a character. It's not quite like Kamen Rider, where, like, your main character will have a big emotional arc. It's just that everyone else in his group has a big emotional arc, and he's just kind of there for them.
That works though. Like, a lot of people underestimate the power of having a flat protagonist.
Yeah, he's very much, he's very, very Gentaro. While being kind of less energetic than Gentaro.
Yeah.
Because he's not a teenager. He's a dude in his, like, mid-20s with a job.
Yeah, it's something I was actually talking about to my wife when we were talking about fours, was the whole idea of you can actually have a flat protagonist that doesn't go through a lot of change. As long as you see some change in the people around him. It's kind of how...
Yeah, because...
Yeah, it's how the Paddington movie works out. It's about showing the change in the people around you and also the world itself.
Yes. And, like, the story wasn't about Gentaro. It was about Kengo. It was Kengo's story. And so much of Forze is built around Gentaro bringing positive change to the people around him. He doesn't need to change. The people around him need to change, and he brings them the opportunity.
Yeah, he encourages the best in them because he sees the best in them. And, like, everyone needs a friend like Gen. Everyone needs that hype man, that guy who's just got your back, who's supportive, but isn't afraid to pull you back when you start fucking.
Yeah. Like, that guy who looks at the worst parts of you and is like, you can do some amazing shit with this.
Franz that guy for me. He's our hype man.
Yeah.
Hi, Franz. Oh god, just nothing wrong with having a main character that's already become a build character and helps those around at the same point. Yeah, you get it, Franz. You get it.
Yes. Absolutely. And Daigo Tiga is very, very much like that. And he's just kind of there, and the rest of the people on his team are going through stuff, and he's just kind of helping out, and then the big man happens and fights a kaiju.
The only other major... There's like two tidbits of Ultraman that I remember every time that this comes up. One, I remember watching Ultraman Tiga and hearing the gemstone blinky blink and being like, ah, that's just like Staryu!
Yes.
in the completely backwards, you've got the right connection, but timelines are a little different here, kiddo.
You have gone from point B to point A.
And then the other half is the ascended Evangelion fan notation of remembering, oh right, Hideaki is actually just a massive fucking tokusatsu nerd.
Yes, I was never quite able to get into Eva just because of depression shit.
Right.
Eva activated the bad brain juices.
You're definitely not the only person. You're not the
I've
only
always
person
had a
who's-
lot of respect for it. I've always had respect for Eva and for Ano. And it was a very interesting thing finally putting those two things together in my brain, because I'm like, I know Ava, and I know Anno loves Ultraman. And then at some point it clicked for me, oh, Ava is Anno working out some emotional shit by way of angsty Ultraman fanfiction.
I was about to say the exact same thing.
And I love that for him.
Absolutely. It's also what's got me really looking forward to when I can watch the Shin Ultraman movie.
Oh, it's so good. Its pacing is very strange, in the same way that Shin Kamen Rider's pacing is very strange. In that Anno was like, I'm gonna put the entirety of original Ultraman into this 2-hour movie. And it's like, honey, that's not exactly how that works, but you do you.
You have a goal in mind. Okay. We'll see how well you can do that.
Like, as someone familiar with Ultraman, I'm like, oh, I recognize the plot beats. This makes sense to me. I see, like, we have moved from episode 1 to episode 12 to episode 20. But my friend who was with me, who hasn't actually watched an Ultraman series, was like, this pacing is bizarre.
Yeah, I felt that's exactly how I felt when I was watching Shin Kamen Rider. Because it feels like it jumps around a lot. But at the same time, it's like, wait, no, I have the general gist of how Kamen Rider goes. I know that story about how, oh god, the original actor was Hongo, I think?
Yes.
Yeah, I heard the story about how Hongo broke his leg. That's why they brought in the second writer. And then he came back and they had him working together. I get all this. And okay, this is actually kind of cool. At the same time, though, like, as a standalone film, I was a little worried that the jumping around would hurt it. But no, my wife adored it.
Yeah, I think, like, I still think both of them are incredible. I actually like Shin Ultraman a bit more. I think just because Ultraman overall has kind of a more static formula that I think was able to be condensed a little easier.
And then you've got Shin Godzilla, which was an original project and fucking amazing. But the fact that we just kept jumping through so many different bureaucrats really made my wife's head hurt.
Fair. I haven't seen Shin Godzilla, and the only thing I need to watch it. I keep intending to. I don't know how I ended up not watching it when it was in theaters. But the only thing I know for certain is there is a lady, one of the like main female actresses in it, is in a J-drama that I really love.
God, the Japanese acting market is just phenomenal to me. The fact that they can actually get actors who are doing anime voice roles and video games and serious dramas and movies, that is something special.
Like, it is, they really just let actors do whatever. Like, whatever role there's, because, you know, in the US, there's kind of a divide between TV actors and movie actors and commercial actors.
Yep, and a big part of that is because a lot of the actors are in unions, whereas a lot of the voice actors aren't unionized yet, hopefully. But
y'all can get there, I believe in you.
we can do it. I believe in us.
And it's just very interesting to see. Like, there is I think it's like 2 commercials for a home security system starring Ueno Juri, who's just a general kind of big 2000s actress in Japan, hiring the Showa Kamen Riders to post around her house as security. And they're extremely cute. They are so funny. And then of course, oh my god, what's his name in O's? Kogami. He's in some exercise machine, like sit-up machine commercials that are buck wild.
Okay, real quick, I have to ask because he is hanging around in chat. What were your thoughts on O's?
I love O's. Dearly, deeply. I wasn't a huge fan of Eiji becoming the dinosaur greed, and that whole arc. I had a lot of issues with the way that they handled. Eiji was allowed to, like, not have desires, and it was... But other people... Like, Eiji had desires, but they didn't count for some reason. And that always felt a little weird to me. But O's overall is incredible. Yasuko Kobayashi is extremely good at what she does, and I'm glad she's out there making that JoJo money.
All right. So a couple of transitional questions to kind of bring us full circle. One, am I correct in assuming that you got the Phoenix Riser suit for Rider?
Yes.
And the Garo suits?
I have almost all of the Garo armor. I was having a problem for a bit because my tanks weren't level 60, so it wouldn't let me do those, because for some reason that gear all has levels. So I'm missing some of it still, but I have most of it.
You should be able to purchase the armor even if you don't actually have the levels. Is that?
I wasn't able to put them on and get the titles. Is what the problem was.
Yeah.
But my tanks are all 60 now, so it should be fine. I just need to go do it.
Garo armor is so good.
Yeah.
And then also, just as an aside, with the new dye system where they let us use 2 dyes, the Phoenix
2 dye channels.
the Phoenix Riser suit dyes so good.
Oh yeah, I need to pull my dyes out and get it in Rider's actual colors.
So, with that transition underway, let's talk a little bit more about Final Fantasy in this last hour of our Final Fantasy collab. So, like, talk to me a little bit about, like, your favorite moments playing this game.
Oh god, there are so many. There are so many. I love this game so much. I feel like Heavensward is the expansion that ended up leaving the biggest impression on me. One, because I am a little bit of a monster fucker. I know that comes as a surprise. And I'm like, yeah, okay, lady, she's into this dragon? Hell yeah. Vor? This is the Vor expansion. Also, I grew up Catholic, so, and had a very bad experience with my church. So, not the bad experience that a lot of young people have with the Catholic Church, but nonetheless. Some stuff that left me traumatized in other ways. So, getting to just beat up the church was chef's kiss. Loved that. It did unfortunately leave me with several expansions worth of I could not stand Estinian. Because the entire time I'm just like, Estinian, sweetie, stop talking. Every time you talk, it makes things worse. We're out here talking to this very nice, lovely dragon, asking for her help to go see her dad, and you're like, yeah, I'm gonna rip your eyes out. And I'm like, that's not helpful. Can you just shut your mouth?
This too is the true autistic experience.
I'm just like, sir, please shut up. But then they bring it back around in Endwalker, and he's allowed to be my friend now.
Yeah.
Because now he too is fucking a dragon.
Yeah, like you know, him and Vitra, it's perfectly consensual and normal.
Yeah, love that for them.
Yeah, it's fantastic.
They're thriving.
They're thriving.
Look,
they're
Vitra
happy.
made himself a hot boy, like a hot adult man in the patches, so that he could be with Estinian.
This is actually factually correct.
The thing that we all joked about for months after Endwalker And then he's just like walks out in a big hot man body, and I'm like, oh my god, I can't believe we all manifested this.
Thank you. We are eating good now.
There was also the fact that I did not like Grahatia during the Crystal Tower raids.
Right.
I'm just like, this boy is snotty and rude to me, and I don't like how he talks to me. He is rude. I know he is trying to impress me, but being rude is not the way to do that.
This is not how you get an Ida bag made of you.
So I didn't like him, and as such, I just kind of forgot about him because he was only in those raids, and I didn't like him, so I didn't remember him. I just I removed him from my brain. So months later, when I get to Shadowbringers, it just doesn't occur to me because I did not remember his name. So even in the beginning, when you like ask him about Grahatia, I'm like, I don't remember who that is. I don't know who that is. I don't know why we're asking about them. I'm not gonna think about it. I'm not gonna go Google it.
Shadowbringers writer in the background. You will remember my OC.
Yeah, so I am the one person who did not know because I just forgot who he was. And now I'm a Grahatia girly. Then I got to the end of Shadowbringers and was like, oh no, he's stupid and sad.
Stupid,
my
sad,
one weakness.
And he has put you on a pedestal and he's hero worshipping you. Because you are the center point of all the fantastic stories that he was reading after he got out of gay baby Crystal Jail.
And I'm like, oh, no, you're a nice boy. You're a nice boy, actually. Oh, no, and you're sad. I don't want the nice boy to be sad.
And he wants Warrior Love Light Senpai to notice him. What's that? You want me to come with you on your fantastical adventures?
I love any time he does the little ear wiggle.
The male Makoto ear wiggle is just like the best shit ever.
It is so precious.
God, my partner has an alt with a male Makoto, and it's just every time that we were together and they were using that alt, I had to get it to do the ear wiggle. It's like catnip.
I love it. I love it.
I'll say this.
That is, Solus is very into girls except for twink cat boys. She is weak for twink cat, specifically twink cat boys.
Very important. Very important. Yeah, Estinian's a fan favorite once he calms down, chills out.
Yeah.
So I'm gonna make a small confession. I have been known to spice up my gameplay every now and then, and there's a scene in between Endwalker and Dawnbringer where you get to see shirtless Estinian.
Oh yes.
I forgot to.
Extremely funny scene.
Yeah, I forgot to clean my room, shall we say, when that scene came up.
Whoopsie daisy.
Whoopsie daisy indeed. At the same time, though, it made.
At the same time, that's very funny in the context of that scene.
It's like
and Zero just being like, am I supposed to take off my clothes also? What are we doing here?
I have not met a single Sapphic yet that did not appreciate Zero.
I love Zero. I would die for her. I want her to kiss Y'shtola a lot.
If Graha is the boy wife, then it's like she is the girl husband.
Oh, absolutely.
We love that for her. Fantastic.
1000%.
And
I am actually disappointed. I have a lot of critiques of the second half of Dawn Trail. And I think that the second half of Dawn Trail, instead of the stuff that they did, should have instead have been about Zero. Instead of Sveen.
Hold off on that just a little bit, because I'm still on, I think, quest line number 92. Yeah, I'm still like at level 92 for
Oh, I will absolutely come back once you have finished Dawn Trail, and I will spew all of my opinions.
Oh, I would love to just, like, have some more yapping to talk about that. Because
I have a lot of Dawn Trail opinions.
I'll say this, for where I'm at currently, leading up, which is we just got to the Giants Village. I am loving what they are doing so far with the contest, with
Yes,
with
I-
Lamont.
The first half of Dawn Trail, 10 out of 10. Everything with the contest, I think, was perfect.
And that's what has me concerned, because I've been hearing a lot of the vague grumbling about the second half. I've heard comparisons to Stormblood, and
I've heard comparisons to Stormblood. Some of them I kind of agree with. But first half of Dawn Trail, incredible. Love Wook Lamont. Big himbo furry woman, would die for her. She's great. Koana, he's twink cat boy.
Jesus Christ, Sona. With you dedicating your life to so many of these characters, I'm gonna have, like, the baker's choice of who to hold hostage.
Look, it's not hard.
Okay, so, like, you mentioned Heaven's Word as your favorite point in terms of, like, the MSQ experience, but what about outside of it? Like, what do you are a known AFKer, but when you're playing
Yes.
the game, what is, like, your poison of choice in terms of, like, what you enjoy? Are you a PvP gal? Are you a raiding gal? Are you, like, the G pose crowd?
I do some illegal G posing. I do a bit of illegal G posing. Because they will not let me bring my beautiful dragon wife places, so I have to do it on my own.
Understandable. Understandable.
Otherwise, I'm mostly a roulettes girly. I'm very into extremes, but I haven't done them in a while. I haven't done any of the Endwalker or Dawn Trail extremes. I haven't even finished the Shadowbringers ones, honestly. There was a period of time in which I would just run Hades Extreme for fun. I really, really liked Hades Extreme.
Why am I not surprised?
I'm not even an Emmett Selk girly. I just really, like, I love him, but I'm not, like, I don't love him.
No one can love him the way that Clodius does.
It's so true. But I really liked that fight. It was structured in such a way that it was once you learn it, it's very, very easy to just do it. So I would just go into learning parties and teach people how to do Hades Extreme.
Okay, so on the subject of our most beloved Asian, let's ask about him, and also our most favorite of ancients, Vanat. Like, just kind of like the two.
Oh, Vanat. Oh, Vanat. I love Emmett Selk. I love this stupid theater grandpa. Shadowbringers really is just two grandpas fighting, and I love that for them.
One of them brought a gack.
But, oh my, really digging into that in Endwalker was so good. And just Vanat running in, busting up a shark man and being like, yo, I'm here. Big lady. I'm here to be a big lady who becomes a bigger lady. And I'm like, damn, okay, I see why they call you the Mother Crystal now.
Mommy, I'm sorry, mommy. Okay, so, like, Shadowbringers was something of a disappointment for me, because by the time that my wife and I had gotten to it, it had been way, way overhyped. I have a much easier time appreciating and enjoying what it was doing now. But at the time, I remember being really let down, in part because Selk just kind of casually drops the whole, yeah, Hydaelyn and Zodiac are primals, and everyone just kind of glosses over that lore-changing fact.
Yeah.
So I go through Endwalker for the majority of the time, expecting that we're gonna fight Hydaelyn. Like, that's just the JRPG thing to do, right? We fight God. Like,
Oh yeah, absolutely.
That's what we
like
did.
especially since like, you know, first trial is fighting Zodiark.
Yeah, exactly. It's
Which
like,
that was the thing. I'm like, okay, we're doing this already. Where the hell is this going?
never skip the cutscenes, even if it seems like there's a dog and it's just riding a dog. Do not skip the cutscenes.
Do not skip the cutscenes.
But the extra context that they add to fighting Hydaelyn with Finette, with the trip back in time to Elpis, really, really changes the fight I was already expecting for us to have. That was a...
Yes.
I cried. I just
Same.
cried.
There is... So I streamed all of Endwalker. I believe that because the bulk of it was done in one 14-hour stream, which is the only thing not in my VODs, because it would not all export to YouTube. I have it downloaded, I just don't have the time to spend 3 hours rendering,
God bless.
cutting it apart. But in the final fight, there is definitely a bit where I am like, I cannot be crying right now. I need to be able to see mechanics.
Don't you know that's one of the mechanics? Oh, emotional debuff.
Severe emotional debuff during Endsinger.
Oh, Endsinger was so good. Ah, that's like the perfect next question though. Xenos, love him, hate him, Nicolas Cage him?
I live to bully Xenos. I live to ruin that man's day. Like, I hate him, but I think he's a fun villain. But I'm also like, I'm not your friend. Stop calling me your friend. We're not friends, bro.
Xenos falls into a camp of gays we do not respect. Oh god, I think I remember seeing...
Like, he is the queer wrongs that I do not support.
that. It's like... I remember seeing a meme about this at one point, talking about how Xenos is that weird ex that keeps sending you swords in the mail for some reason.
Oh my god, there is a meme of him, like, he's working out and he's on the phone with Fandaniel, who is my actual least favorite character. I fucking hate Fandaniel. And he's like, okay, or Fandaniel's like, okay, I've found out who the Warrior of Light thinks is like the strongest person. And I wish I could remember who it was. But then Xenos is like, okay, well, who do they think is the scariest? Who do they think? And he's like, who the hell is Julian Manderville? Because the first one it's like, who the hell is whoever the first one is? And then he's like, okay, but who's scariest? Who the hell is Julian Manderville?
Oh my god. I remember... I think I binged almost the entirety of Manderville when I was doing my big catch-up, and I remember those scenes.
Yes.
That is very apt.
Oh my god. I had a hard time with Manderville just doing it on my own. It's the type of comedy that kind of bounces off of me unless I'm sharing it with someone.
Mm-hmm.
So I was in a group chat when I was doing most of it, and I'm like, what is up with this woman? What is going on here?
Look, we just don't acknowledge that Grandma's aging very gracefully, shall we say? Oh my! I'm imagining that you managed to finish the Endwalker Manderville quest to get like the relics and stuff.
Yes, I've done the Manderville relics and just the general Manderville quest.
The Endwalker Manderville quest is by far some of the most fun that Endwalker has to offer, I think.
Absolutely unhinged.
Unhinged, and also just so many great unique animations just for your character
Yes.
specifically. It's amazing. You've got
To
volleyball,
go back-
basketball, soccer,
oh my
and
god,
baseball.
oh my god, all of those were hysterical. They were so funny. To go back to an earlier question, I realized, okay, I do have a very specific type of favorite content that I only get to do for a little while. I am a Beast Tribes girly.
Ooh.
I love Beast Tribe quests. And
AKA
the
the new
Endwalker
society
Beast
quests.
Tribe quests are so good.
They are. Oh my god, I did the hippo racers on my main account.
Oh my god,
That was so good.
I love them. I love that their entire thing is, we're inventing DoorDash.
We are punk racers inventing DoorDash.
And I'm like, that is incredible. Love that. I am not in the car.
Oh,
I very strongly recommend getting through all of the Endwalker quests because they brought back an allied quest for them. And it's the funniest thing.
So-
It is the absolute... A thing happens in it that I am like, are you fucking serious?
Here's where I'm at with that, right? So, the character that I've been playing with today, Thamora, she's my everything character. She's the one that I've been doing all the gathering and crafting and doing all of the jobs and everything quest. I did like a whole video essay about that. But right now she's still locked to Eorzea Prime. She has not started any of the AR patch content. She hasn't gotten to Heavensward. That's why literally the only job that she doesn't have leveled are literally the 3 Heavensward jobs. My main account, though, I have not done any gathering or crafting on that except for Fisher. So that's going to be a time and a half if I want to actually do the Endwalker and stuff with her. Otherwise, it's just going to be whenever Thamora here gets to the end.
Yeah, I mean, I love all 3 Endwalker Beast Tribes. All 3 of them are incredible, and they have the best allied quest.
I do want
Their
to.
allied quest is incredible.
I do want to note that for sensitivity reasons, they are referred to as society quests now.
Yes, they are. I'm so used to it,
Yeah, no, I get you. I'm kind of the same way.
and I'm like,
I did want to note this for like anyone who's watching.
yes. The game doesn't call them Beast Tribes anymore, but I do because I'm also a beast.
True, you have beast fucker privilege.
Like, look, back when the game was calling them Beast Tribes, I still wanted to get absolutely destroyed by an Amalja. So,
I'm not going to say exactly the same, but I am going to say that I understand completely. Wait, hold on. Oh, wait, it's one of those fight the boss things. Okay.
yeah.
I
Like,
was, for some reason, was
I
looking
made
up-
it out to Thanolin, and I saw the Amalja, and I was like, okay, yeah,
Honestly,
I like it here.
that is a great point about the society quest, though. I really like the side stories. One of-
Yes.
One of the pitfalls that can really happen with any sort of RPG that wants to use segregation, discrimination, anything like that. One of the pitfalls ends up being these are the good versions because they conform to society. These are the bad versions because reasons and stuff like that. I appreciate the nuance that they bring to the
Yes.
the environment here.
Because the tribes are always, they still do all of the same things that the other ones do. They just are less murdery about it.
Yeah, like you bring up the Amalja quest. I adore that we have like proud warrior race about it, but also they're working in the shadows to protect the Makote region's people, and also they adopt a Makote in with little question.
I love, and like I love the Kobold quest line
Yeah.
which I think is really good because that one is so much about kobold culture.
Industrial sabotage.
Yes. Like, I also love committing business crimes, so I love me a good business crime.
So, from transition here onto the business, since we do have half an hour left. One, thank you again so much for hanging out. This has been an absolute scream.
Absolutely. Thank you so much for having me. I would love to do this again.
Absolutely. Two, on a slightly more personal side, why and how did you end up getting into streaming and VTuber?
Okay, so I had tried streaming a couple of times when Breath of the Wild first came out. I streamed a bit of Breath of the Wild, but I was a non-camera streamer because I hate being on camera. So I was like, hate being on camera, but it feels like if you're a no-camera streamer, you're kind of at a disadvantage.
Yeah, 'cause
so
there's nothing really for the audience to like connect to.
Yeah, like I was on mic, I would talk, but it's that lack of like a visual connection really feels like a hindrance. So I had been watching VTubers since Kizuna Ai. I wasn't like super into them, but I would watch Kizuna Ai, and I had friends who were really into them. So they would send me clips, and I'm like, haha, cute anime girl doing things. And then I saw the stream of Kiryu Koko and Sakura Miko, where it was a Sakura Miko Elite English stream, where she was like, I'm gonna get Kiryu Koko with my Elite English to take me to the Statue of Liberty. And that is the funniest video I've ever seen in my life.
You're gonna have to link that to me. I have not heard of this one.
It is so funny. Sakura Miko just at one point just keeps screaming "Freedom Lady." And I'm like, I want to do that. And this was, early 2020. This was, May and June 2020 is kind of when. I think it was June is when I finally like saw this video and was like, I'm going to do this. And in about 2 weeks, I had drawn a half-body model. And at the time, this is extremely funny, rigging a half-body high-end model was like $300.
Oh, I wish.
Extremely funny in the modern context, but that was at the time out of my budget. Now, I had actually played with Live 2D in like 2015 when it first came out, but I could not get my head around it. The program wasn't in English. There were no tutorials at the time.
Oh no.
There were no resources, so I just kind of gave up. And I was like, I know that I can't do this. So my original Live 2D rig artist was, at the time, she was called Minty. She later rebranded to M. And she rigged my half-body model. I was her first ever rig commission. She rigged me for $75.
Holy shit.
So at the time, we were using FaceRig. VTube Studio didn't exist yet. There was another program called PRPR Live that I think does still exist, but VTube Studio has kind of taken over the space. But I was using FaceRig because that's what we had at the time. And for my first year, I had designed myself looking at Inugami Korone. And I'm like, I'm just going to do kind of a cute, marketable cat girl. And about a month in, I was like, I don't want to just be a cute, marketable cat girl. I am only talking about tokusatsu. I'm doing tokusatsu stuff. I'm going to come up with a new design. and kind of make myself a Toku themed VTuber. And me being me and having the reputation that I had, I'm like, well, obviously, I'm gonna be a hot Monster Girl Sentai villain.
Right, you have to.
Because that's what I do. That's the life that I choose to live. And everyone who knew me back from the Tokusatsu Tumblr days, not surprising to any of them.
Absolutely not.
They knew me, and they're like, yeah, this makes sense. This tracks. And, you know, there are people, like, in the TokuTuber community who knew me back then, but either like, some people may know and have just never said anything, but there are people who, like, DM me privately and were like, oh my god, you were this person on Tumblr. I'm like, oh, you figured it out.
Damn.
Good job.
Even the villains have secret identities these days.
Good job. It's not hard if you knew me then and know me now. The Toku things that I am very obsessed with, it's all the same shit.
That's gotta feel good though, right? Like you just have like the trademark, you have the thing that you're passionate about, and everyone's like, nope, yeah, that's the Sono thing.
Yeah. And I mean, also, I went by Sono then, but that wasn't my Tumblr username. So I think that might be a bit of a disconnect for some people. But at the time, at the time I was planning this, there really weren't a lot of other Tokusatsu VTubers. The community kind of sprung up in the year that I was saving for this rebrand. Because I had M, who rigged my original half-body model, also just do my entire second model that I used up until 2 weeks ago.
Right, and that was only just a couple of years ago, right?
Yeah, that was, I moved to that model in 2021.
And I want to say, that's funny, because that's when I made my debut, was a couple of years ago, and somehow I just kind of fell into the TokuTuber sphere. Like, it's how I met Fran, it's how I met Jess, and
yeah,
it's definitely how I started following you.
The TokuTuber sphere kind of like coalesced in that time. And there was a part of me that was like, oh no, it's gonna take me too long and everyone's gonna think I'm like rebranding to be in this community, when I had kind of always planned, because the lore in the rebrand was that I was doing like a disguise. I was in a catgirl disguise to hide the scorpion stuff, and everyone loves a cute catgirl, and I was spying. So because there was also at the time there was actually kind of a stigma around rebranding. Because at that time, as VTubers blew up, I think a lot of people did what I did and initially started with designs they thought would be marketable instead of designs they were really passionate about. But with so many people doing it, there ended up being kind of a stigma around it that eventually dropped and no one cares anymore. Unless you're a shitty person who's rebranding.
Thank God.
And then it's less about the rebrand. Yeah.
Like, people who are getting into this need the freedom to be able to just, like, experiment and find those things.
Yeah. So, I liked a lot of, like, my first and second designs have a lot of the same elements. The color scheme is the same. You know, the hair is pretty much the same. I just kind of evolved that design into what I wanted it to be. And it was really nice seeing the TokuTuber sphere evolve and grow, and seeing everyone kind of find each other in this space. And I really love the TokuTuber community that we've created. Even, you know, especially those of us who've stuck around. There are a lot of people who've come and gone. But I'm a little surprised I am the only villain TokuTuber.
That you know of so far? Because I feel like I have seen villains. Maybe not necessarily like Toku villains, but...
Yeah, like, there are villain tubers. The person who I thought was one was, oh my god, what is her name? She's like a crocodile-themed villain. And I can't think of her name at the moment, and I feel really bad about it. Because she's delightful. I love her. Gata. Madame Gata. And there was a time at which we wanted to do like a big TokuTuber collab project, and we contacted her because we thought she was a Toku villain. But I think she's more of just like a generic kind of magical girl action anime kind of villain.
Mm-hmm.
Which, you know, a lot of that draws on tokusatsu, so there are similar design aesthetics.
Yeah, like
So when we had DM'd her, I was the one who had contacted her, and she's like, "Oh, I'm not a Toku villain. I'm not a TokuTuber." And I was like, "Oh, that's a little disappointing."
Aw.
I thought we were the same. And again, I love her. She's wonderful. But there are a lot of TokuTubers and a lot of villain tubers, a lot of monster tubers. But I'm the only one that I know of at the center of the Venn diagram.
Okay, so like, quick question: what would you call the hallmarks of a Toku villain? Just in case anyone listening happens to be like, oh, there's an ish.
Yeah, I mean, like, if you want to get in, I specifically am a Sentai villain. So, you know, I'm a Sentai villain on a redemption arc. A lot of inspirations for my lore were Kegalesia from Go Onger, really the early 2000s Sentai villain women. Kegalesia, Shizuka, Melee, all of them. Jian from Abba Ranger. Love them. That's what I wanted. That was a lot of my visual inspiration, along with Ariane from Gurren Lagann, because mommy.
She has such a fun design.
I love her. I love her.
And her mech is great too.
Yeah. Oh my god, Seiren's so good. I think a lot of, especially with Sentai, the best villains are willing to get a little goofy, but you have like a funny little villain plan. I'm still doing crimes. My redemption arc, I'm still doing the redemption part. Cause I can't resist doing funny little crimes sometimes. Like, Rider villains and Sentai villains are such a separate niche that it's really hard to, like, make a specific hallmark. I mean, now you have a lot more face-acted male Sentai villains, which we did not have for a long time.
Right,
that was very much a post-Gokaiger. I think Enter from Go Busters was very popular, and they're like, oh, right. We can also cast hot boys to be evil, and they like that.
They like that a lot.
Hot boys.
Yeah, give me a nice broody villain who's like destined to only live in darkness and gets hurt by light, but keeps thinking about light regardless because he wants that.
Yeah, love that for them. Yeah. Stacy Zenkaiger, done dirty. Should have made him the 6th. Hate the 6th in Zenkaiger.
So there might be a bit of a lack with regards to Toku villain tubers, but you did end up finding a bunch of other Toku tubers to form a group with.
Yes, we were originally 4, and we are currently 6. Gatai Universe, originally Gatai the Live, which is now just what we refer to our first generation as, and our second generation is Shin Gatai. And as a whole, we are Gatai Universe.
So, like, tell me about that. Tell me about how you met everyone.
So I met Maru. She had been talking on Twitter about some idol stuff, and I had chimed in about some negative stuff in idol culture, which was kind of relevant to the conversation. But then I reread my tweets and was like, oh, I maybe came off as a little, like, well, actually aggro to someone who knows far more about this than me. So I DM'd her to apologize about that if it came across that way. Because I try not to be like that, but some of it is that spicy brain need to explain things.
Yep.
Where sometimes I can come across a bit like that, and I'm like, hey, I just want to let you know that I acknowledge you know more about this than me. I was just, trying to be part of the conversation and then realized I sounded probably bad. And then at the time, there was another TokuTuber who kind of latched on to both of us separately, who ended up being not great, and having a not great reputation in the larger tokusatsu fandom. And that becoming a VTuber was kind of her rebranding under another name. Which I had kind of distanced myself from the greater fandom, so I actually had no idea who they were talking about. And I was DMing the people who were bringing attention to this, like, hey, I am friends with her, but I swear I'm not trying to start shit and, like, bring stuff to her. I just want to know what's going on. Because I have never heard of her. Like, the name she went by in the past, I had never heard of it. So I'm just trying to get information. And I had to go through 3 or 4 people before I got someone to finally explain. And they asked me to also communicate this to Maru, and I did. And we kind of bonded through that and found out that we both just have a lot of things in common outside of just tokusatsu. We have the same favorite anime, which is Magic Knight Ray Earth. That is very, very dear to us. We have...
Reboot coming!
Yes! Oh my god, I can't believe that Portrait of Skull and the Ray Earth reboot got announced within days of each other. This is my year.
God, I was so prepared to ask get some questions about that too, because I'd seen Ray Earth. I was like, oh, I can't wait to talk about that, but we're not going to have time to talk about that, so maybe next time.
That's okay, I'll be back. I will absolutely brain rot about Ray Earth. So Mara and I got very close very quickly. I had known Captain Hurricane from way in the past, just being in the tokusatsu fandom. We met around when ToQger came out, and we had kind of bonded over ToQger. And then he became a VTuber, and I was like, oh, cool, my old friend is here. And, we had just made a little group chat where it was, the 3 of us in Choo-Choo, and we were all just talking because we're all on the older end, especially around that time, of VTubers. Because a lot of indies are much younger than us. I'm ancient. I'm as old as the Earth itself.
Ooh, I feel that. I'm right there with you.
So, we were just like, oh, let's have a little group chat for grown-ups, and we made a lot of jokes about Hololive and Niji-Sanji and how, like, we as a group, we're gonna overtake them. Not seriously, obviously, but just, making the jokes. Having a good time.
Unless?
And then, we were already all talking all the time and collabing all the time. And we're like, what if we do make a little group? Like, obviously, we don't have the funds to be an agency, but we can put ourselves under some branding and kind of use the greater branding as a way of promoting ourselves, which I think has worked pretty well for us.
Yeah, I think I remember asking you about that at some point earlier on. So,
yes.
How has the cross-pollination been going?
Honestly, we now, when we brought in Shingatai, we merged all of our Discord servers. We made one big group Discord server, because we found by that point we really did have a lot of the same people in all of our communities.
Mhm.
Like, you know, Sheila was in all of our communities. Skylarka and Toxen, who ended up becoming Shin Gatai, were in all of our communities. So, you know, we ended up with a lot of the same people anyway. And I think it really has been a good thing for all of us, because we've really developed this very close-knit community around all of us as streamers and our combined audiences. And we've kind of all got our niches where, you know, Maru does a lot of Gunpla, Cap does a lot of racing games, I do art. And, you know, we have a lot of things where we all have different talents that we can combine to work on projects. Like when we did Diamond City Lights, you know, Sky is a music producer. I know video editing. I can draw. So we're able to kind of combine all of our talents into more ambitious projects. Things like the Trial of Captain Hurricane, which is still one of the best streams I've ever done. We're like, this would be a funny idea. And we figured out how to make it happen.
By our brain cells combined, we can have a functional...
Yeah, like that was a completely unscripted, fully improv stream. Like we had some things planned, but like it was a big improv exercise of figuring out the mechanics of how to use OBS to like shift the camera around and make it look like a Phoenix Wright trial while we are all improvising.
Oh my god, please tell me the VOD of that is available.
It is. I know it's on Maru's channel. It might also be on mine. It is incredible. I am not someone who is genuinely overall very confident in my improv skills, which I was very worried about during this. I'm like, man, am I gonna screw it all up? But once you're into it, and if you're doing it with people who know your sense of humor, and you know their sense of humor, and you know where the lines are of, like, what things you can bust on someone about and what things you shouldn't, it becomes very easy.
Yeah, you just, like, you gel. You naturally bounce off of each other already.
Yeah, so we were basically making a lot of the same jokes that we make in the group chat about, you know, like, oh, Cap, you and your vampire waifu, and then, you know, he calls us out for me simping a character from Q Ranger, and Maru simping every woman, and me also simping every woman, but especially that one from Q Ranger.
Casually bringing up Maru's VR Trooper fandom.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So it was a lot of us putting kind of our best jokes into one stream. And, you know, we had the Minecraft wedding, which was, again, almost entirely improv. I think we both wrote our vows off stream, and Cap wrote his sermon off stream, but we were just kind of winging it. We did the Murder of Sonic the Hedgehog visual novel and voice acted all of that, which was wild and fun. And it's just, if you find a group of people that you gel with, like, make sure you gel with them and that y'all know how to work things out with each other when stuff comes up, because it's going to. It always will. That's just how being around other people is. But, you know, you can work it out. If y'all are friends and can be chill with each other, it's fine.
I think that's the real key point too. If you're friends, like, I see a lot of these different indie groups popping up, and it's a good idea, right? You don't have to be part of a corporation to have a group. You don't have to have any of that, the glitz or the glamour. Just make cool shit with your friends.
Yeah.
But then a lot of them is also like, you know, taking applications for this and that, and you have to go, well, that definitely works if you have the same goals and the same, you know, time and energy to commit to projects and stuff like that. But it is just so much easier if you're friends beforehand.
Yeah, and like if you're setting up something that you're putting out applications for, that's a job. That's a job. And y'all have to know how to handle this like a job. Like if you're a group of friends, that's not a job. Like this is my job. I am a full-time VTuber because I'm disabled and can't get other work because I can't drive.
Praise.
But Gatai isn't my job.
Yeah.
I do a lot of things. Like I handle a lot of our coordination for Gamers Outreach events. And that's just because I worked with them before we were Gatai. So I was the one originally in contact with them. So I'm like, okay, well, I will handle that contact. And at the time, I was the one, you know, I'd already done a Gamers Outreach event, so I knew how to do the setup. So I'm like, yeah, I will help everyone handle setup. Maru does a lot of coordinating for events. Like, there is behind the scenes work that we're all doing all the time, but when you are in a group that you treat as an actual agency, y'all have to treat it like a job, and y'all have to know what's appropriate to do at a job.
Yep. And when you're working with other people, you also just have to have the patience and grace to be able to work the stuff out. That's really gonna be the test on whether your group survives or not. If your group can actually have the conversations of, okay, these are my boundaries, let's not go past these, or these are the projects that I want to do. I'm not going to be the taskmaster, but I do want to I want to help you. I want to see you succeed too.
Yeah. And like, I'm willing to help people coordinate projects. I'm willing to help people with my skills. Like, my V3 model was, a lot of the rigging was done by Cap and Toxan, helping me out because I have no idea how to use Live 2D to this day. And, you know, I know that I can ask them if they need video stuff, if they need some kind of video thing, they know they can just ask me, and I will help them with a video.
Yeah. Okay. So, we are at the top of the hour, which means that after we finish this fight, oh my god, I hope this enactment drops here, because this would be the last one I need for this region. It would be so perfect.
Yes, get it!
Please, 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 please! Give me the gotcha roll!
Come on,
no!
Grishold! No!
Desire sensor. Betrayed.
Always the desire sensor.
Here, let's go back to good old empty Limsa. Known for its incredibly clean pavement and lack of distractions.
Lack of degeneracy.
Here, the nice, peaceful, you know, white fenced suburb that is Limsa.
Oh my god, the Lominsian suburbs.
Oh. This was fantastic. Thank you so much.
Yes, absolutely. I would love to do this again.
Without question. Like full on. Now we get to the part where I get to gush just a little bit. You have been just like one of the coolest people to follow. I have always enjoyed popping into your chats and streams whenever I can.
Oh my goodness.
So like, it feels very nice to be able to just have the hangout and have it be as much fun as it has been. Thank you so much for being on the same
Yes. Thank you so much for having me. I have had an absolute blast. I would love to come back and do this again. Talk Rare Earth, talk more Toku.
Oh, yeah.
brain rot into the void.
Absolutely. Like, I'm already penciling you in on the Dawn Trail review board.
Oh god, yes, I have so much to say about Dontrell.
I will get like it'll be you, me, and maybe like one or two other people just to have a nice little diatribe of let's go ahead and talk about the good, the bad, the ugly, and also, oh god, not to be a lesbian, but oh fuck.
Big kitty.
Very big kitty. All right, so I'm gonna start. Let's see. Actually, would you like the honor of picking our raid target for tonight?
Yes, let me see.
And then while you're
who's
streaming-
around that I know.
All right, and then while you go ahead and do that, I'll go ahead and let everyone know that for our upcoming schedule, on Friday we will be continuing our Heart Gold Nuzlocke playthrough. We have the radio tower coming up, which means we have to survive 6 fucking coughings and a wheezing. I don't know how, but we will. Then we'll come up with a game plan for Claire's Kendra. Fucking sniper ass Kendra. Monday, I will be back. We're going to be doing our very special Brawl season review for Magic the Gathering Arena. Next Wednesday, because that's going to be the first set day that I can stream that Bloomburrow's release, it is going to be another arena stream. And then after that, we're going to get back to Wildcard Wednesday. We'll be streaming some one-off games. I've got a couple of titles picked up that I've been wanting to just like do. I want to do some shorter stuff after having the long marathon that is Dawn Trail, so that'll be really cool too. Sono, anything that you want to plug before we pick the raid target?
I will be back tomorrow with more Hrothgirl Summer. Solas is going into Sastasha and praying there won't be weirdos this time. Friday, I will be doing Ocarina Randomizer again. Sunday, I will be working more on Enigmas's PNG Plus.
And then, by the end of this week, I should also have a smaller off-the-cuff video essay that I'll be posting onto the YouTube, so keep an eye out for that. Sona, who are we looking to rate today?
I also have an ASMR video dropping on Saturday.
Oh my god,
it is the it is the sequel to Villain Takes Care of You While Sick.
So no,
that I have put off for 3 months.
So no, I just needed you to know. In preparation for the stream, I was checking out those ASMR videos. 1, good job. 2, because you keep referring to POV person as hero, it kept giving me this weird, just whoa. This is the downside. This is the downside to being hero girl and having everyone refer to you as hero.
Yeah, understandable. That will happen in this one, and there is a part 3 following the week after. The person released a 3rd script when I wasn't looking, and apparently more are coming. So that series will continue as scripts appear. And then there will be others. I am doing Monster Girlfriend teaches you about Tokusatsu.
Ooh.
So that one's going to be fun. That's basically going to be my recommendation of places to start by way of an ASMR vid.
Alright, so who are we raiding?
We are going to raid Choo Choo.
Ooh, Choo Choo. I think I actually have them. Yeah, I believe I'm actually following Choo Choo.
Nice.
Choo
I
Choo.
dropped them in the chat, but it's so rare that I see Choo Choo streaming that I'm like, oh, we gotta raid Choo Choo.
Oh yeah, Choo Choo's been someone I've been wanting to follow a little bit more too, but so
Choo Choo is so funny and so knowledgeable about everything.
All right, and then there was one last thing I wanted to hit up, Sono.
Yes.
In a theoretical world where I too am part of a collab group, you have to promise me that at some point we'll get to arrange a versus between our two groups.
Oh, absolutely.
All right, we'll make it happen in that theoretical universe that may or may not ever be in the future.
I will look forward to it.
All right. In the meantime, folks, we'll see you next time. Same hero time, same hero channel. Good night, everyone.
Bye, everybody.
All right. Raiden in.
Week to rest,
Get the
honestly.
rate acknowledgement.
Maybe this week?